CD1. Track 1. Fiona.
What makes me happy? Well, I love doing yoga. That's very important to me and I do it every day. I'm also a yoga teacher and I teach classes 3 times a week. I really enjoy teaching and it never really feels like work. And I love spending time with my son Leo, of course. He's nearly 7 now and it's wonderful watching him grow up. At the moment, he's playing a video game. It's amazing how good he is. He's much better than I am, and he beats me every time. What else? Well, I love having a lie-in, which doesn't happen very often, as you can imagine. But last Sunday, Leo stayed with his grandparents, so my husband and I didn't get up till midday. It was heaven.
Maxie.
Well, playing guitar makes me happy. I got my first guitar when I was 12 and now I'm in a band at uni. I started writing my own songs about 2 years ago and so far I've written about 25 songs. Our band isn't famous or anything, but we play every weekend, usually at local pubs or parties, and there's always a really good atmosphere. Oh, and last month I put a video of the band on YouTube and so far it's got over 20,000 hits, which is fantastic. What else? Well, I love visiting new places. That makes me happy too. I've been to 6 countries so far, and maybe one day we'll play gigs all over the world. Now that would be amazing.
Caroline.
What makes me happy? Well, I really enjoy going to art galleries with my twin sister Mary. We go to an exhibition together once or twice a month, and we always have a wonderful time. Another thing that makes me really happy is working in the garden. I've always loved growing plants and flowers ever since I was a little girl. And this year I've started a small vegetable garden. We often have friends round for dinner, and it's nice to eat things we've grown ourselves. But I don't do the cooking. My husband does all that. It's one of the things that makes him happy. I just do the eating. What else? Well, seeing our grandchildren, of course. They visit us most weekends and we love every minute we spend with them.
Track 2.
Whereabouts do you live? How long have you lived there? Who lives with you? What time do you get up on Sundays? Why are you studying English? Where did you go on holiday last year? How many countries have you visited? Who emails you the most? What did you do yesterday evening? What are you planning to do next weekend?
Track 3.
I don't often visit my grandmother. No one in my family likes tennis. My mum hasn't lost her mobile. I don't think I'll buy a new phone. There's no doctor in the village. None of my friends have got cars. Neither of my brothers likes cooking. There's no milk in the fridge.
Track 4.
Oh, sorry I'm late. Did you get my text?
Hi, Sally. Yes, I've ordered you the vegetarian pizza.
Great, thanks a lot.
Were you working late?
No, I go to a drama club on Mondays.
I didn't know you've joined a drama club.
I only joined a few weeks ago, but I'm really enjoying it.
So, what do you do exactly?
Well, first we choose a play, then 3 months later we put it on at the local theatre. We don't get paid or anything, it's just for fun.
And what play are you working on at the moment?
It's a comedy called The Best Years of Our Lives. It's very funny. I play a confused old lady who's fed up with her husband.
Well, that shouldn't be too difficult.
Hey!
I'd love to come and see you on stage.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sure about that. I'd feel very nervous if I knew you were all watching me. Anyway, how's your book club going, Eric?
Oh, it's going very well, thanks.
So, what do you do in your book club?
Well, every month someone chooses a book and we all read it. Then we meet up a month later at someone's house and talk about what we thought of the book.
With lots of food and drink, probably.
Yes, of course. That's the best bit.
Do you always read the books?
Yes. Well, I try to, but I don't always finish them. Sometimes I just read the last page to see what happened in the end.
Well, my brother runs an animation club, which is quite interesting.
What's that about?
It's for people who like making animated films. You know, short cartoons, things you might see on YouTube.
Are you a member?
No, but I've been to a couple of meetings. They're great fun. People watch each other's films and then talk about how they made them.
You're interested in that sort of thing, aren't you, Eric?
Yes, I do some animation on my laptop. Maybe I should go sometime.
Sure, I'll let you know when the next meeting is.
Great, thanks.
Well, I've just joined a glee club.
What's a glee club?
Basically, it's a club for people who like singing and dancing. We choose some songs and then learn the words and dance steps. And at the end of the year, we're going to put on a performance for charity.
Oh, are you any good?
Well, I'm okay at singing, but I'm not the best dancer in the world. They always put me near the back.
Well, go on. Give us a song then.
No, I couldn't sing here. I'd be too embarrassed. Oh, look, here comes the food.
That was lucky.
Track 5.
I'm really looking forward to meeting Lisa's new boyfriend. She was telling me all about him last weekend. He sounds really nice. They're very late, though.
They'll be here soon, I'm sure.
Ah, here they are. Hi, Rebecca. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
We're fine, thanks.
And how's the most beautiful baby in the world?
Hi, you must be Daniel. I'm Charlie, and this is Rebecca.
Hi, nice to meet you. You live next door to Lisa, don't you?
Yes, I do.
How long have you lived in this village?
Oh, about 3 years now. It's a really nice place to live. Apart from the noisy neighbours, of course.
Hey, you're the ones with a baby who cries all night.
Yeah, that's true. So, Daniel, you're from London originally, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. I moved out to the country about 2 years ago.
So where do you live now?
In Renfield. You know, about 20 miles away.
Yes, I know it. And how did you and Lisa meet?
Well, my brother Alex used to share a flat with Lisa's sister, Barbara, when they were students.
Barbara went to Liverpool University, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Anyway, last month Alex invited me and my sister over to his birthday party, which is where I met Daniel.
And what do you do, Daniel?
I work for a water sports company. I teach sailing, canoeing, diving, that sort of thing.
You've been diving, haven't you?
No, I haven't actually. It sounds a bit too dangerous to me.
No, it's not really. Not if you know what you're doing. And what do you do, Charlie?
I work for Getaway Holidays. You know, the package tour company. It's a boring office job, really. But the money's okay.
Oh, right.
Well, I know something you two have got in common.
Oh, what's that?
You both support Manchester United.
Really? Well, you'll have to come round and watch a match sometime.
That would be nice, thanks. It was a great match yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. They played really well, and 3 brilliant goals.
Isn't it amazing? You put two men together and after 5 minutes, they're already talking about football.
It's how we communicate.
Yeah, and it means we never have to talk about our feelings.
Very funny.
I'm getting hungry. You haven't ordered any food yet, have you?
No, we haven't. We were waiting for you. Should we go and get some menus?
Yeah, good idea. You two can talk about football while we're gone.
And keep an eye on Harry.
Yeah, of course. Why does that always happen? You don't have any kids, do you?
No, I don't. One day, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't hurry if I were you. I haven't had a good night's sleep for 6 months. What's the matter, little man? Do you want Mummy to change you when she gets back? Do you?
Track 6.
You live next door to Lisa, don't you?
Barbara went to Liverpool University, didn't she?
You've been diving, haven't you?
It was a great match yesterday, wasn't it?
You haven't ordered any food yet, have you?
You don't have any kids, do you?
Track 7.
Stressed. Scared. Shocked. Worried. Frightened. Annoyed. Confused. Relaxed. Concerned. Depressed. Satisfied. Terrified. Interested. Excited. Embarrassed. Exhausted.
Track 8. 1.
Stressed. Annoyed.
2.
Concerned. Exhausted.
3.
Depressed. Confused.
4.
Embarrassed. Interested.
5.
Frightened. Worried.
6.
Shocked. Scared.
7.
Satisfied. Relaxed.
8.
Excited. Terrified.
Track 9.
Welcome to Cover to Cover. Today we're talking about Carl Honoret's book, In Praise of Slow, which tells us that we're all living too fast and working too hard and that we should all just slow down. With me are two journalists, Kim Mayhew and Rob Davis, both workaholics, of course. Kim, what did you think of the book?
I thought it was very interesting and quite funny in places too.
And what about you, Rob?
Well, as soon as I finished it, I decided that I must take more time off work.
Yes, me too. Honoré says people should only work 35 hours a week.
And do you think that's a good idea?
Yes, definitely. Firstly, a lot of people are unemployed these days, as we know. So if everyone worked fewer hours, it might create more jobs.
But according to Honoré, people are already working less in some countries. For example, Germans spend 15% less time at work now than in 1980.
Honoré also believes that we ought to spend more time with our families.
And that's already happening in some countries too, isn't it? It says in the book that some French employees are allowed to begin their weekend at 3 p.m. on Thursday.
Yes, and Honoré also says people can get their best ideas when they're doing nothing. Albert Einstein was famous for just looking into space at his office at Princeton University. And you can't say he didn't have a few good ideas.
Absolutely. Kim, what else interested you about the book?
Well, I was interested to read that Americans work 350 hours a year more than Europeans. But in some American companies, employees can sleep whenever they want. Apparently, they have special rooms where people can go and relax if they're tired.
Really? If we had one here, I'd be in there every afternoon.
Actually, by law, people in the UK are supposed to have a break every 4 hours. But a lot don't, of course. I was also surprised to read that 20% of British people work more than 60 hours a week. We work the most hours in Europe, and it's certainly not making us happier.
Yes, and lots of people have to take work home because they're under a lot of pressure to meet deadlines. Apparently 60% of British people who were interviewed said they didn't take all their paid holiday. No, that's just crazy.
And these days, of course, we're able to continue working when we're travelling. You know, on the train or on a plane or whatever.
Yes, the Japanese even have a word for it. Karoshi, which means death from working too hard.
On that happy note, we'll leave it there.
Track 10.
So, do you think you should relax more?
Absolutely. I must try to slow down a bit.
Are you able to start work when you want?
No, not really. I'm supposed to be in the office at 8. What about you?
I don't have to be at work until 10.
Lucky you. Are you allowed to work at home?
Yes. We can work at home 2 days a week.
Oh, we have to be in the office every day.
Perhaps you ought to look for another job.
Yes, maybe. Anyway, I have to go. I mustn't be late for my next meeting. Bye.
Track 11.
Do you think you should relax more? I must try to slow down a bit. Are you able to start work when you want? I'm supposed to be in the office at 8. I don't have to be at work until 10. Are you allowed to work at home? We can work at home 2 days a week. We have to be in the office every day. Perhaps you ought to look for another job. I have to go. I mustn't be late for my next meeting.
Track 12.
I'm blogging from a busy street food market. I'm sitting in one of Mexico City's busy parks. Now I'm writing a book about street food. We're working in Mexico for a few days. My blog is becoming more popular every year. More people are visiting Thailand on holiday these days.
Track 13.
How many people do you know who have trouble sleeping at night? For many of us, insomnia is part of life, and not being able to get to sleep isn't just annoying, it can also be very dangerous.
Yes, and with us today is sleep scientist Dr. Angela Moore. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Dr. Moore, how much of a problem is this, do you think?
Well, we know tiredness can cause accidents. More than 50% of road accidents in the USA are because of people driving when they're tired.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is, isn't it? And when you think 30% of people in the UK can have problems getting to sleep or staying asleep and 10% have serious insomnia, that's a lot of accidents waiting to happen.
So, how much sleep do you think people are getting these days?
Well, 100 years ago, before electricity, people went to sleep when it got dark and woke up when it got light. But now in our 24-hour society, we sleep about an hour and a half less than we did a century ago.
Well, I've got 2 teenagers and no one can say they're sleeping less.
I'm sure a lot of parents would say that. Actually, scientists now believe teenagers need about an hour more sleep than adults.
Really?
Yes, it's because their bodies are still growing. Of course, teenagers don't need as much sleep as babies and small children. They need the most sleep. It's actually older people who generally need the least amount of sleep.
That's very interesting.
Yes, and another interesting thing about teenagers is their body clock is different. So they naturally want to go to bed and wake up about 2 hours later than adults.
So that's why our children aren't very bright in the morning.
And because they have to get up early for school, this means they can feel exhausted when they get there. Recently, a school in the north of England decided to start lessons at 10 rather than 9. With a later starting time, fewer students missed school, and the exam results in English and maths were much better than the previous year.
So, do you think all schools should start later?
Well, that's certainly what a lot of sleep experts think nowadays.
So, why do we need sleep?
We don't really know. Scientists used to think sleep was the only time you had complete rest, but in fact we use about the same amount of energy when we're asleep as when we're sitting on the sofa relaxing.
Really? That's very surprising.
Yes, and our brains are very active for some of the time we're asleep. Apparently that's when our brains can organise information they've collected during the day.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. Thank you for coming in today.
My pleasure.
Track 14.
Do. D. You. Y. At. Ut. For. F. Of. And. N. To. T. Can.
Track 15. Conversation 1.
Here you are, Lisa. 1 sugar. Thanks, Rebecca.
Where's Harry?
Oh, he's having his afternoon nap.
Right. You look a bit stressed. Is everything okay?
Well, Charlie and I are having a difficult time at the moment.
Oh, dear. What's the matter?
Harry isn't sleeping very well. He wakes up 4 or 5 times every night, which means Charlie and I wake up too, of course. The trouble is, Charlie finds it difficult to get back to sleep, so he's always absolutely shattered the next day.
I can see why you're upset. That must be really difficult.
Yes, it is. And when Charlie gets home from work, he's really exhausted and fed up. So we're arguing a lot more than we usually do.
Oh, dear, what a shame.
What should I do, Lisa?
Well, have you tried talking to him about it?
Yes, but we just end up having another argument. Then he tells me I'm spending too much money and starts getting really angry at me.
Oh, how awful.
But I only buy things we need for the house and for the baby, of course.
Perhaps you ought to spend more time together. You know, just the 2 of you. I think you need at least 1 evening off a week.
Yes, you could be right. I'll talk to Charlie when he gets home.
I'd be happy to babysit for you if you like.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Lisa. Thanks a lot. Uh-oh. Sounds like someone's woken up. Back in a minute.
Conversation 2.
Charlie, have you got the file for the Bradley account?
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Thanks. Are you okay? You look exhausted.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just having trouble sleeping these days, that's all.
I'm sorry to hear that. What's the problem?
Well, Harry isn't sleeping very well. He wakes us up in the middle of the night, then we can't get back to sleep.
Maybe you should sleep in separate rooms. You know, just till Harry's sleeping better. Then you won't wake up so often.
Well, it's worth a try, I guess. But it's not just that. Rebecca's spending too much money. Not on herself, but she buys lots of things for the house and the baby that we just don't need.
Well, why don't you talk to her about it?
I've tried that. But we just start arguing again. And then she tells me I'm working too hard, which is probably true. But I've heard that some people are going to lose their jobs soon, and I don't want to be one of them.
Yes, I see what you mean. But I really don't think you're going to lose your job. The company needs you.
Thanks, Andy. That's good to hear. So what do you think I should do?
Well, I'd take her out for a really nice meal, you know? Just the two of you. That's what Fiona and I do when we're having problems, and it's always really helpful.
Yes, that's a good idea. I might try that. Thanks, Andy.
No problem. Good luck.
Cheers. Actually, I'll call her now.
Hi.
Hi, honey, it's me. Look, do you think we could get a babysitter this evening?
Track 16. 1. A.
Oh dear, what's the matter?
B.
Oh dear, what's the matter?
2. A.
I can see why you're upset.
B.
I can see why you're upset.
3. A.
Oh dear, what a shame.
B.
Oh dear, what a shame.
4. A.
Oh, how awful.
B.
Oh, how awful.
5. A.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
B.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
6. A.
Yes, I see what you mean.
B.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Track 17.
Oh dear, what's the matter?
I can see why you're upset.
Oh dear, what a shame.
Oh, how awful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Have you tried talking to him about it?
Perhaps you ought to spend more time together.
Maybe you should sleep in separate rooms.
Why don't you talk to her about it?
I'd take her out for a really nice meal.
Yes, you could be right.
Well, it's worth a try, I guess.
I've tried that, but we just start arguing again.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I might try that.
Track 18.
Which company do you work for?
It's called Getaway Holidays. I work for the owner.
Really? I'm thinking of going on holiday soon. Do you think you can get me a cheap flight?
Yes, maybe I can. Where do you want to fly to?
Well, my brother's working at a hotel in the Caribbean, and I'd like to go and see him.
Which hotel is he working at?
It's called the Island Palace. Do you know it?
Yes, I do. How long do you want to go for?
About 3 weeks if I can.
OK, I'll see what I can do for you. Text me.
Track 19.
I'm a guide for a company that organizes hiking tours in the Rocky Mountains in Canada. I'm actually American, not Canadian, but I've lived in this country for about 3 years, and I really love working here. I've worked in the USA and in Europe, and I really enjoyed my time there too, but for me, there's nowhere like the Canadian Rockies. A lot of our customers have been hiking before, but when they get back to the hotel, they often say it's the best experience they've ever had, which is very satisfying. It's not always an easy job. You have to deal with difficult weather conditions, and sometimes it can be quite dangerous. Also, I have to put up with a few people who do stupid things. For example, 3 days ago, a guy set off on his own into the mountains without telling anyone. He got lost, then fell and broke his leg. Luckily, he had GPS on his phone and we were able to rescue him. Actually, I've just been to Banff to pick him up from the hospital. He can't do any more hiking, of course, but at least he'll have a good story to tell his friends when he gets back home.
My wife and I started working in the hotel industry 19 years ago, but this is the first time we've run a hotel in a touristy place like the Lake District. We've had this place since 2008, and I'm a bit fed up with it, to be honest. Running a tourist hotel is quite stressful, particularly when people complain about things. It can be difficult for tourists to get around in the summer because of all the cars, but I don't know why they complain to me about it. Also, some people think they can check in and out whenever they want. We have to clean the rooms, of course, so if guests don't check out on time, it makes life very difficult for us. Another problem is that one of us always has to be here. For example, my wife's gone to see some friends off at Manchester Airport, so I have to stay and look after the hotel. And because we're open all year, it's difficult for us to have a holiday together. We've been away a few times, but each time there was a problem at the hotel, so we had to come back early. But this December, we're closing the hotel and going to South America. We're really looking forward to it.
Track 20.
I've worked in the USA and in Europe. We've been away a few times. I've lived in this country for about 3 years. We've had this place since 2008. My wife's gone to see some friends off. I've just been to Banff to pick him up from the hospital. This is the first time we've run a hotel in a touristy place.
Track 21. 1,
I've met. I met.
2,
You've had. You had.
3,
We've won. We won.
4,
They've told. They told.
5,
He's wanted. He wanted.
6,
She's lived. She lived.
Track 22. 1,
They lived in Egypt for 10 years.
2,
We've opened a restaurant.
3,
I've decided to stay here.
4,
You lost a lot of money.
5.
She's visited a lot of interesting places.
6.
He phoned all his friends.
Track 23.
When we were younger, we came here on holiday every year. Then we moved here in 2007 and opened a restaurant. We've lived here since then, and we've just opened a guest house on the other side of the island. Of course, we've had a lot of visitors from home since then. My parents arrived last week. It's the 4th time they've visited us this year. Veronica's family are arriving today too. She's just gone to pick them up from the airport. The main problem is holidays. We've been to Turkey twice, but our last holiday was 18 months ago, and we haven't had any time off since then.
Track 24.
I've been working here for 6 months. How long have you been travelling? Scott's been writing books since 2006. He's written 5 books so far. They haven't been playing golf for long. How long has he had that car? I've known Zach since we were kids. We've been waiting for 2 hours.
Track 25.
Good afternoon and welcome to Take a Break. Today we're taking a look at the rise in voluntourism around the world. I'm here with Alison Armstrong from the travel website voluntours.net. Alison, first of all, can you tell all our listeners what voluntourism is?
Well, it's when people go to another part of the world on holiday or on a longer trip and volunteer to work for free in the place they're visiting. And at the moment, it's one of the fastest growing types of tourism in the world.
And what kind of holidays are we talking about?
They can be almost anything, really. Typical examples are helping to build a school in Asia, planting trees in a national park in Australia, or perhaps working on an organic farm in Spain.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of people go on these holidays?
Oh, all sorts of people. These days, a lot of students take a gap year, that is to say, a year off between school and university, and about 25% of people in the UK take a year off work between the ages of 17 and 25. These young people often want to travel the world and do something useful at the same time.
But it isn't just young people going on these holidays, is it?
Oh no, absolutely not. There's a huge increase in the number of volunteers in their 30s and 40s, and also a lot of retired people too.
And why do you think this type of holiday is becoming so popular?
Well, we get so much information about all the problems in the world these days, and a lot of people want to do something practical to help. It's also a great way to get to know the people and culture of the place you're visiting.
Yes, that's a good point.
And a lot of older people want more from their holiday than just sitting on a beach or going on guided tours. But it can be difficult to meet local people when you stay in tourist hotels and eat in tourist restaurants.
OK, but do the volunteers really help the countries they visit?
If the holiday's well organised, yes, definitely. Tourists still have to pay to go on these holidays, of course, and some of that money is used to help the local community. The tourists also do useful work while they're there, and local people enjoy sharing their culture with people from different countries.
And what about the tourists? Do they have a good time?
Yes, most of them do. And a lot of people say that it's the best holiday they've ever had. If you read some of the blogs on our website, you'll find that for many people, voluntourism is a life-changing experience.
Well, it seems like everybody wins. Perhaps I should take my family on one of these holidays next year. Alison, thanks very much for coming in today.
Not at all.
Track 26.
These samosas are nice. Try one.
Yeah, they're delicious.
So are you two looking forward to your trip to India?
Yeah, we can't wait.
Where are you flying to?
New Delhi. It was the cheapest flight we could get.
You've been to Delhi, haven't you?
Yes, we went there about 18 months ago.
Well, maybe you can give us some tips.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, firstly, do you know any good places to stay?
Well, there are lots of good hotels in Connaught Place. That's right in the centre of New Delhi.
Yes, the place we stayed in is called the Raj Hotel. It's not too expensive and very comfortable.
You can book rooms online.
Great, thanks. We'll check it out. And what's the best way to get around?
In Delhi, it's probably best to use rickshaws. They're quicker than taxis and quite cheap.
Okay.
And to travel to other cities, I'd recommend the trains. They're a lot safer than the buses, especially at night.
Well, that's good to know. So, what should we go and see? Are there any good museums?
Oh, no. Don't bother going to the museums. They're not that interesting, and there are much better things to see in Delhi.
Yeah, but you should definitely see the Red Fort in Old Delhi. It was built in the 17th century and it's absolutely huge.
Right, the Red Fort in Old Delhi. What else is worth visiting?
Well, there's the Jami Masjid, of course. That's well worth seeing. It's the biggest mosque in India, and it's only a few minutes from the Red Fort.
Okay, that sounds good.
And there's a much older fort, about half an hour from the centre.
Yes, but it isn't really worth visiting, I don't think.
Okay. What about places outside Delhi?
Well, it's probably already on your list, but you really must go to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. It's only 3 hours away by train. You can do it in a day if you start early.
Yes, we're planning to go there. And what about the food? Do you know any good places to eat in Delhi?
Yes, there are lots of really good restaurants in Connaught Place. Oh, what was the name of that place we used to go to?
Oh, yes. I know the place you mean. I think it's called the Shanty.
Yes, that's right. It's only a few minutes from the Raj Hotel, and the food there was amazing.
Thanks, that's really useful. Have you got any other tips?
Well, only drink bottled water, of course. And don't drink anything with ice in it. Ice is usually made with tap water, which isn't very safe.
Yes, I've heard that before.
And I wouldn't eat any salads because they're often washed in tap water too.
Yes, that sounds like good advice.
All this talk of India is making me want to come with you.
Yeah, me too. Perhaps we could ask Lisa and Daniel to babysit for a month.
Oh, look, here comes our food.
Track 27.
Do you know any good places to stay?
What's the best way to get around?
What else is worth seeing?
What about places outside Delhi?
Have you got any other tips?
It's probably best to use rickshaws.
I'd recommend the trains.
You should definitely see the Red Fort.
That's well worth seeing.
You really must go to Agra to see the Taj Mahal.
Don't bother going to the museums.
It isn't really worth visiting, I don't think.
Don't drink anything with ice in it.
I wouldn't eat any salads.
That's good to know.
That sounds good.
Thanks. That's really useful.
Yes, I've heard that before.
Track 28.
Kindness. Laziness. Dangerous. Famous. Musical. Natural. Author. Director. Assistant. Accountant. Comfortable. Fashionable. Improvement. Argument. Collection. Decision.
Track 29. 1.
It's dangerous to be ambitious and adventurous.
2.
The accountant's assistant is very important.
3.
She's knowledgeable, reliable and fashionable.
4.
He felt both happiness and sadness after his illness.
5.
The director had 3 visitors, an author, a doctor and an actor.
6.
We had a discussion and made a decision to do some revision.
7.
It's a traditional medical centre that uses natural herbal medicine.
8.
There's disappointment in the government because there's no improvement in unemployment.
30.
She threw her shoes into the crowd. While she was doing an encore, she threw her shoes into the crowd. 'The manager came over and congratulated me. While I was playing my last track, the manager came over and congratulated me. 'All the fans were singing along. It was a fantastic atmosphere, and all the fans were singing along. 'Dancing and having a good time. All the clubbers were dancing and having a good time. 'Go to a lot of gigs. I used to go to a lot of gigs. 'Play at friends' parties. I used to play at friends' parties.
Track 31.
What are you working on at the moment, Josie?
I've been making a TV series called Modern Adventurers.
That sounds interesting.
Yes, it's fascinating. The first episode is about a man called Ed Stafford, who became the first person to walk the length of the River Amazon in 2010.
Wow, that sounds like hard work. How long did it take him?
About 2.5 years.
You're joking. Why didn't he go by boat?
Very funny. But that's the point of the series. Why do some people go on these crazy adventures? Just to be the first person to do something?
Good question. So, did this guy... what was his name again?
Ed Stafford.
Right. So, did Ed Stafford walk the Amazon on his own?
No, he set off with a friend called Luke Collier. They'd planned to do the whole walk together, but Luke went home after 68 days.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't last 68 minutes.
No, me neither. Anyway, a Peruvian guide called Cho joined the expedition after Luke had gone back to the UK. Cho had planned to walk with Ed for only 5 days, but ended up staying with him until the end.
And what did they eat?
They mainly lived on rice and beans, which they bought in villages and carried with them, but they also went to parts of the forest that nobody had ever been to before, so they sometimes ran out of food and had to eat whatever they could find.
So did they just disappear into the jungle for 2.5 years?
No, not really. Every day Ed wrote his blog or uploaded a video of his journey onto his website, and of course he also read messages that people had sent him.
So how far did he walk in total?
Well, the River Amazon is about 4,000 miles long, but Ed calculated that he'd walked about 6,000 miles.
I hope he took some insect repellent.
Well, if he did, he didn't take enough. He says that during the trip he got 200,000 mosquito and ant bites.
Really? That's amazing.
Yes, and he also got 600 wasp stings and 12 scorpion stings.
Ouch! So what did he do when he'd finished the journey?
He flew back to England, had a rest, and then, a few weeks later, he ran 4 marathons in 27 hours.
Wow, this guy makes me feel exhausted just hearing about him.
Well, if you think he's extreme, the second programme is about another modern adventurer called Martin Strel. He was the first person to...
Track 32.
Luke had gone back to the UK. Cho joined the expedition after Luke had gone back to the UK. People had sent him. He also read messages that people had sent him. He'd walked about 6,000 miles. Ed calculated that he'd walked about 6,000 miles. The whole walk together. They'd planned to do the whole walk together. Nobody had ever been to before. They went to parts of the forest that nobody had ever been to before. He'd finished the journey. So what did he do when he'd finished the journey?
Track 33. 1.
I finished work. I'd finished work.
2.
He left home. He'd left home.
3.
My parents bought it. My parents had bought it.
4.
Nick worked there. Nick had worked there.
Track 34. 1.
I had a bad day. I'd had a bad day.
2.
John had arrived early. John arrived early.
3.
She made a mistake. She'd made a mistake.
4.
Tom had thought it was wrong. Tom thought it was wrong.
5.
The couple had asked for a bigger room. The couple asked for a bigger room.
6.
We told him the news. We told him the news.
35.
Big River Man. Martin Strel, or Big River Man as he is often called, is a long-distance swimmer from Slovenia. Martin taught himself to swim when he was 6, and in 1997 he became the first man to swim from Africa to Europe by crossing the Mediterranean Sea. 7 people had already tried to complete this swim without success. In 2002, Strel swam the length of the Mississippi, which took him 68 days. The year before that, he'd broken the world non-stop record by swimming for 84 hours and 10 minutes without stopping. But he's probably best known as the man who swam the length of the Amazon in 2007, something nobody had ever done before. He travelled 5,268 kilometres and swam for over 10 hours a day. By the time he arrived at Belém in Brazil, he'd been in the water for 66 days. He now runs an adventure swimming holiday company with his son in Slovenia.
Track 36.
And with the weekend just around the corner, I have with me in the studio Gabrielle Wallace from the excellent website londonfornothing.com to tell us how to enjoy London for free.
Hi there.
Welcome to the programme, Gabrielle. To a lot of people, London appears to be a very expensive city to visit.
Well, it can be, but there are actually a lot of things you can do in the city for free.
Such as?
Well, of course, you don't have to pay to visit many of London's museums or art galleries, such as the British Museum or the National Gallery.
Right.
And if you'd prefer to wander around the city on your own, you can download free walking tours onto your phone. My favourite is the tour of the area around London Bridge, which is really interesting. And all the tours come with a free downloadable map, so you don't get lost.
OK. And is there anywhere you can hear some free music?
Yes, there is actually. For example, there's free jazz at the National Theatre 6 days a week. And if you go to the Royal Opera House at lunchtime on Mondays, you can enjoy some free opera.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, and you can also go and see a radio or TV programme being recorded. I've seen a few TV comedies and chat shows being made, and they're always great fun. And the audience always gets in for free.
And how do you get tickets?
You normally have to apply online. There are various websites that specialise in free tickets.
Right. And what about more unusual days out?
Well, you can visit the Houses of Parliament, of course. Anyone can queue up and go in for free, and then you can watch a live debate from the public gallery.
I'm sure that would be very interesting.
Yes, it can be. It's worth going just to go inside the building, which is very impressive, of course. But if you want to go on an official tour, you have to pay, unfortunately.
Right.
And you can also go and watch a trial at the Old Bailey, which is the biggest criminal court in the country. If you get a good case, it can be absolutely fascinating. But don't forget to take some ID with you.
And what about if you have to entertain children for the afternoon?
Well, why not take them to a city farm? There are about 13 in the city, and most of them are free. And at all of these places, children are allowed to feed the animals, play with the rabbits or whatever.
Gabrielle, thank you for coming in to see us today. For free, obviously.
Obviously.
Track 37.
To a lot of people, London appears to be a very expensive city to visit.
There are actually a lot of things you can do in the city for free. My favourite is the tour of the area around London Bridge. And you can also go and see a radio or TV programme being recorded.
Track 38.
And he's just outside the box. He shoots. It's just wide. And there goes the whistle for half-time here at Old Trafford.
That'll be Rebecca and Lisa.
Just in time for the second half.
Hi, honey, we're watching the football.
Hello, you two. Good match?
Yeah, United are winning 2-1.
Oh, that's wonderful news. I'm pleased you haven't wasted your afternoon.
Rebecca isn't very keen on football.
Well, I just think that most football fans are really rude and aggressive.
Well, some of them can be quite aggressive at times, I agree. But it's not as bad as it used to be when I was a boy. There was a lot more football violence then.
Yeah, I agree. On the whole, most fans just want to see a good game and have fun.
It's not much fun when your team loses, though, is it?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, it's the players I have a problem with, not the fans. I can't believe how much they get paid. Some of them get over £200,000 a week just for kicking a ball around. It's ridiculous.
Well, I agree that footballers tend to earn rather a lot of money. But you have to remember that football is part of the entertainment industry. Hundreds of millions of people are watching this match all around the world. That's why footballers get paid so much, because so many people want to see them play.
Yeah, singers and film stars get paid millions every year too, but you don't hear people complaining about that.
Well, I wouldn't mind so much if they behaved themselves. But every week you read stories about famous footballers getting into fights in nightclubs or crashing their Porsche into a tree and things like that. That's not very sensible behaviour, is it?
I agree. But generally speaking, most footballers are just normal people and never get into any trouble. It's only a few who are a bit crazy.
Well, maybe. But I don't understand why men take football so seriously. Who wants to spend their weekends watching a group of millionaires kicking a ball around? I mean, it's only a game.
Well, perhaps some people can take it a bit too seriously. But what was it someone once said? Football isn't a matter of life and death. It's much more important than that.
Very funny. Anyway, I just don't want Harry growing up and becoming obsessed with football like you two are.
Too late. Look what Daniel's bought Harry.
Daniel!
Well, you have to get them when they're young, otherwise he might end up supporting Manchester City.
Oh, I give up.
Anyway, are you coming next door to help me with the washing machine? It still doesn't work.
I'd love to, but the second half is just about to start.
Come on. Let's leave the boys in peace.
Yeah, it's hard having 3 children to look after, isn't it?
Track 39.
Some of them can be quite aggressive at times.
On the whole, most fans just want to see a good game.
Footballers tend to earn rather a lot of money.
That's not very sensible behaviour, is it?
Generally speaking, most footballers are just normal people.
Perhaps some people can take it a bit too seriously.
Track 40. 1.
Or. Organised. Mourning. Divorced.
2.
Forget. Opportunity. Stubborn.
3.
Worse. World. Workaholic.
Track 41. 1.
Or. Enormous. Snoring. Gorgeous. Boring. Unfortunately. Uniform.
2.
Correct. Information. Gorilla. Motorbike. Mirror.
3.
Worst. Worth. Homework.
Track 42.
OK, let's start with the first place we saw. What did you think of the terraced house in Bishopston?
Yeah, I thought it was nice. It seems slightly bigger than where we live now.
No, I think it's the same size as our house. It just seemed bigger because it didn't have any furniture in it.
Yes, you're probably right. I thought the back garden was lovely and it had a new kitchen.
Yes, I like the kitchen too. And it's the least expensive place we've seen so far.
Yes, that's true.
OK, so what about the detached house in Redland?
Well, it's one of the oldest houses we've looked at, and I like old houses. They've got a lot of character. It's got more space than the other two places.
Yeah, and it's got a garage, which is useful. But it's quite a long way from the station, which might be a problem.
Yes, you could be right. And it's a little further away from the city centre than we want it to be.
OK, and what did you think of the flat in Hotwells?
Well, it's not as big as the other two places.
Yes, that's true, but it is a flat, not a house. Actually, it was a lot more spacious than I'd expected.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? I think that's because of those enormous windows.
Yes, I suppose so. It was different from anything else we've seen.
And it had the most amazing view. You know, all the way down the river.
Yes, that was fantastic, wasn't it?
But it's got the worst kitchen I've ever seen. The cupboards were falling off the wall. And it hasn't got a garden.
So that's a no then?
Yes, I think so. It's just not right for us.
OK, so what about the other two places? Do you want to go and see either of them again?
Well, the house in Redland was nice, but the back garden was far smaller than I'd expected, you know, for a detached house. It's as small as the one we've got now.
And it was much noisier than the other two. It's on a very busy road.
Yes, that's true.
That might be a problem, especially at night.
Right. So you thought the first place we saw was better?
You mean the house in Bishopston? Yes, I think so. It's very similar to where we live now, so all our furniture will fit in OK.
And it's a bit less expensive than the Redland house.
OK, let's go back and see it again tomorrow. Then we can decide.
Right. I'll give the estate agent a ring. Have you got their number?
Track 43.
It seemed slightly bigger than where we live now. It's not as big as the other two places. It was a lot more spacious than I'd expected. It's very similar to where we live now. It's the same size as our house. The back garden was far smaller than I'd expected. It was different from anything else we've seen. It was much noisier than the other two. It's as small as the one we've got now.
Track 44.
Right, what's next?
What about this old laptop?
Actually, I'm going to give it to my brother. He says it'll be fine for his kids to use. He's picking it up tomorrow evening after work.
Yeah, OK.
So that goes in...
The giveaway pile with the books.
And what about that old printer?
Oh, I think we should throw that out. It doesn't work anymore, so we can't really give it away.
Right, so which pile?
Put it next to that old TV and the videos.
And what about these old letters? I don't know why you've kept them. You'll never read them again.
Yes, you're probably right. OK, I'll throw those away.
Right.
And what shall we do with all these old photos?
Oh, I'm in the middle of going through those.
But we never look at them anymore.
I know, but that's because they're not in order or anything. I'm going to sort out the rest of them at the weekend. Then we can get rid of the ones we don't want.
OK, so we're keeping these for now?
Yes. So, that pile.
Yes, the one with the suitcase and the lamp. And can we throw out your old CDs?
Sorry, I don't really want to get rid of those.
But you'll never listen to them again. You only listen to music on your MP3 player these days.
Yeah, but I want to copy the CDs onto the laptop. Then I can get rid of them.
Fine. Put them in the keep pile. You really don't like throwing things away, do you?
That's not true. I'm definitely going to get rid of this awful jumper. It's really ugly.
That was a birthday present from my mother.
Oh, was it? OK. I should probably keep it then.
Not if you're not going to wear it.
OK, I'll put it on the giveaway pile. We can take it to a charity shop.
And what about your old tennis racket? You've got to throw that out.
Actually, I'm going to give that to Julia next door. She's going to start taking tennis lessons.
You're joking. That old thing? It's 20 years old. It's going to break the first time she uses it.
Oh, it's fine for a 9-year-old.
Right. What's next? What about these curtains?
Track 45. 1.
I'm going to sort out the living room tomorrow. I'm going to sort out the living room tomorrow.
2.
It's gonna rain in a few minutes. It's gonna rain in a few minutes.
3.
I'll put away all the stuff we want to keep. I'll put away all the stuff we want to keep.
4.
I think he'll become famous one day. I think he'll become famous one day.
5.
We're having some friends round for dinner on Saturday. We're having some friends round for dinner on Saturday.
Track 46.
I'm going to sort out the living room tomorrow. It's gonna rain in a few minutes. I'll put away all the stuff we want to keep. I think he'll become famous one day. We're having some friends round for dinner on Saturday.
Track 47.
What about these curtains? Shall we give them to your brother?
Sorry, but I don't think he'll use them.
OK, I'll throw them away. They're really old anyway.
And what about your guitar?
Barry wants that. He's coming to pick it up on Friday.
Right, I'll put it in the giveaway pile.
Do you want to keep your old trainers?
Yes, definitely. I'm going to start running again soon.
Yeah, right. Shall we keep this mirror? It'll look nice in the new house.
Yes, why not? Oh, is it 3:30 already? Don't forget we're meeting the estate agent at 4.
You go. I'll finish sorting out this stuff.
OK, see you later. Bye.
Bye, darling. Right. Now he's gone, I can start doing this properly. Let's throw out those smelly old trainers for a start. And that broken tennis racket. Oh, and I'm definitely keeping all my old love letters.
Track 48.
Ashley.
My birthday's on January the 1st, New Year's Day. So it's always a bit strange because people kind of forget about my birthday. It's kind of like, Happy New Year. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, Ashley. The best, my most memorable birthday was in 2000, the beginning of the new millennium. We all, me and some friends, went to London to watch the fireworks by the river. Apparently, there were like 3 million people there that evening. The atmosphere was absolutely brilliant, and it sort of felt as if 3 million people had all come to my birthday party.
Jean.
Well, my most memorable birthday was last year because I was 100 years old. You see, my husband died 13 years ago, but you know, life goes on, doesn't it? And it was, I had a really lovely day. My 2 daughters organised a party for me, and I didn't have to do a thing. All my family were there, you see, including my 4 grandchildren and my 7 great-grandchildren. They didn't put 100 candles on the cake, though. It wasn't big enough for that. And I got lots of lovely birthday cards, including one from the Queen with a special birthday message inside, which was wonderful.
Ruby.
I'm a twin, you see, and so every birthday is my sister Daisy's birthday too. I didn't enjoy birthdays very much when I was a kid because, you know, I always had to, share them with my sister. And we only had one cake between the 2 of us. After we grew up, Daisy moved to Ireland, so we, stopped having birthday parties together. And I really missed her. I mean, it just wasn't the same. Anyway, last year it was our 30th. So Daisy and I had an old-fashioned birthday party at our parents' house, you know, with balloons and party games and ice cream and stuff. And it was the best birthday party I've ever had. And we both had our own birthday cakes with our names on, which was fantastic.
Stuart.
Well, I don't I hate getting older, so I just sort of pretend that it's a normal day. People send me, I still get a lot of birthday cards, which is kind of annoying. But the best, my most memorable birthday must be my 40th, when my brother organised a surprise party for me. I mean, it was nice of him, I suppose, but I wasn't very happy about it at the time. He'd invited some of his friends along, including a woman called Patricia, who I thought was, you know, absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, to cut a long story short, Patricia and I spent the whole evening talking, and we started going out together soon afterwards. So, birthdays can be good sometimes, I suppose.
Face to Face, 2nd edition. Intermediate. By Chris Redston and Gilly Cunningham. This recording is copyright Cambridge University Press, 2013. CD 2. Track 1.
Excuse me?
Can I help you?
Yes, I hope so.
What do you need?
I'm sorry, I've forgotten what it's called. It's a thing for making soup.
Is this what you're looking for? A saucepan?
No, it's a type of machine. It's, you put food and water in, and then you turn it on and it cuts up the food.
Do you mean a blender?
Oh yes, that's right, a blender.
Okay, the blenders are over there on the top shelf.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks a lot.
Is there anything else you need?
Yes. I don't know what it's called in English. It's stuff for getting marks off your clothes.
Do you mean washing powder?
No, it's a type of liquid. You use it when you get coffee or wine on your shirt.
Oh, you mean stain remover. That's on the 2nd floor in the home laundry department.
Oh, thanks very much. What's it called again?
Stain remover.
Thank you for your help. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello again. Did you find what you were looking for?
Oh, yes, thanks. But I'm still looking for 1 or 2 other things.
Well, can I help at all? What is it that you need?
I can't remember what they're called, but you use them to mend your clothes. They're made of metal and they've got a hole in the end.
Oh, you mean needles?
Yes, that's right, needles.
They're over there near the escalator. You'll find all sorts of different types of cotton there too.
Oh yes, I can see them. Thanks a lot.
Can I help you with anything else?
Yes, just one more thing. I'm sorry, I don't know the word for them. You wear them when it's cold outside?
Do you mean gloves? You know, you wear them on your hands.
No, you wear them on your ears. They look like headphones.
Oh, you mean earmuffs. They're on the ground floor in the accessories department.
Right. What are they called again?
Earmuffs.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for all your help.
No problem. Have a nice day.
You too.
Track 2.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten what it's called.
I don't know what it's called in English.
I can't remember what they're called.
I'm sorry, I don't know the word for them.
It's a thing for making soup.
It's stuff for getting marks off your clothes.
You use it when you get coffee on your shirt.
You use them to mend your clothes.
It's a type of liquid.
They're made of metal.
They've got a hole in the end.
They look like headphones.
Is this what you're looking for?
Do you mean a blender?
Oh, you mean stain remover.
Track 3. 1.
Jungle. Jacket. Gorgeous. Large.
2.
Yellow. Yoga. Yesterday. Young.
3.
University. Student. Tuesday. Few.
Track 4. 1.
Journey. Vegetable. July. Dangerous.
2.
Your. Year. Yet. Onions.
3.
You. Usually. Huge. Barbecue. Music.
Track 5.
Hello.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Lily. How are things?
Oh, not too bad, I suppose. But now the kids are at school, I've been wondering what to do with my time. I get bored being at home all day on my own.
So, what choices do you have?
Well, I could go back to teaching, but I'm thinking of doing another degree instead.
Really? Wow.
Well, if I start teaching again, I'll be exhausted after a year. And I don't know if I want to work in a school all day and then look after 3 children when I get home.
What will you study if you do another degree?
I'd like to do fashion design. You know I've always been interested in that kind of thing. I've talked to a few colleges and I don't think it'll be a problem getting in.
Well, that's good. But you might not get in this year if you don't apply soon. It's already June.
Yes, I know.
What does Jack think?
Well, he's worried about the money side of things. You know how expensive university fees are nowadays. But unless I do it soon, I'll be too old.
Well, have you asked Mum and Dad? They might lend you some money.
Yes, that's a good idea. I'll ask them before they go on holiday.
Anyway, I don't think you should worry about the money. I think you should do what will make you happy.
Yes, you're probably right. As soon as I make up my mind, I'll let you know. So, how are things with you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Actually, I've just been offered a new job.
Really? Where?
Beijing.
Really? Wow, that's fantastic news. What's the job?
The same as I'm doing now. Sales manager. They want me to set up a new sales team there.
So, are you going to take it?
I don't know. I'm not sure I want to live on the other side of the world.
Oh, I'm sure you'll enjoy it when you get there.
Maybe. I've got a meeting with my boss on Monday about it. I'll make a decision after I talk to him.
Well, I think you should take the job. You might never get this kind of opportunity again.
But I can't speak a word of Chinese.
Well, why don't you do an intensive course before you go? I'm sure the company would pay for it.
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
Have you talked to Mum and Dad about this?
No, not yet.
Well, don't worry. I won't say anything until you decide what to do. I know they'll want you to go, though.
Yes, probably. Anyway, I'll call you when I know what I'm doing. So, how's Billy getting on at his new school?
Track 6.
I'll be exhausted after a year. If I start teaching again, I'll be exhausted after a year. If you do another degree. What will you study if you do another degree? If you don't apply soon. You might not get in this year if you don't apply soon. I'll be too old. But unless I do it soon, I'll be too old. I'll let you know. As soon as I make up my mind, I'll let you know. Until you decide what to do. I won't say anything until you decide what to do.
Track 7.
You want them to be happy and successful. If you have children, you want them to be happy and successful. They don't develop in other ways. If children study all the time, they don't develop in other ways. They shouldn't put too much pressure on them. If parents want their children to be happy, they shouldn't put too much pressure on them. Praise the effort they make. If you want to help your children, praise the effort they make. They can feel like they're failures. If you criticize children for not getting good grades, they can feel like they're failures.
Track 8.
If my children make a lot of effort, I praise them. If my children make a lot of effort, I'll praise them.
Track 9. 1.
If my children work hard, they get good grades. If my children work hard, they get good grades.
Two.
If you fail the exam, you have to take it again. If you fail the exam, you have to take it again.
Three.
I'll text you if there's a problem. I'll text you if there's a problem.
4.
We'll call you if we don't get there on time. We'll call you if we don't get there on time.
5.
If she doesn't call me, I worry. If she doesn't call me, I worry.
6.
If I see him, I'll say hello. If I see him, I'll say hello.
Track 10.
Charlotte, are you very superstitious?
No, not really. Why do you ask?
I'm reading a fascinating book called The History of Superstitions. Did you know that in Britain, people think that seeing a black cat is good luck, but in nearly every other country in the world, it's bad luck?
That's quite strange, isn't it?
Yes, I thought so too. And do you know why breaking a mirror is 7 years bad luck?
No, why?
Well, the Romans believed that life started again every 7 years. If a mirror broke, then people thought the last person who looked at it was very ill and would continue to be ill for the next 7 years of their life. You know, until they got a new life.
OK then. My uncle always carries a rabbit's foot around with him. Why would a rabbit's foot be lucky?
Hang on. Lucky charms are here somewhere. Yes, here it is. Rabbits were believed to help families grow their crops because they lived in the fields and had lots of babies.
Mm-hmm.
So they became a sign of fertility and good luck.
Not so lucky for the rabbit, though.
Yeah, true. So, what superstitions do you believe in?
Well, let me think. Oh, I touch wood. But everyone does that, don't they?
Ah, that's an interesting one. According to this book, thousands of years ago, people used to believe that good spirits lived in the trees and that touching wood called on these spirits and protected people from danger.
That's interesting. I also do that thing with salt, you know, throw it over my shoulder. I've no idea why, though.
Ah, that's in here too. Yes, here it is. Apparently, hundreds of years ago, salt used to be very expensive and valuable and was mainly used as a medicine. So spilling it was a really bad thing to do. You throw it over your left shoulder, or the right one if you live in Argentina or Italy, into the faces of the evil spirits behind you to stop them hurting you.
Sounds like an interesting book.
Yes, it is. You can borrow it when I've finished, if you like.
Yes, please. Thanks a lot.
Track 11.
Right, are we ready to start? OK. As you know, we're planning to hold a festival in the summer to celebrate the 200th anniversary of our village. Now, we've never done anything like this before, so I'm happy to hear everyone's opinions and suggestions.
Perhaps the first thing to discuss is what sort of entertainment we want.
Yes, that seems a good place to start.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, of course, Duncan.
Well, how about having some live music? We could put up a stage on the village green for the weekend.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Who shall we get to play?
We could hire some professional musicians.
I'm not sure about that. For one thing, they could be quite expensive.
What about charging people £5 each to get into the festival? That would raise quite a lot of money.
Sorry, I don't think we should do that. I think the festival should be free for everyone.
Yes, I agree. A lot of people won't come if they have to pay.
Well, we could ask bands to play for free. There are lots of local bands who'd love to play at a festival, I'm sure.
Yes, we could put an ad in the local paper and on the website.
Well, it's definitely worth a try. but we'll still need to raise some money to pay for the stage and the lights, that sort of thing.
I've got an idea. Let's have a festival raffle and ask people to buy raffle tickets when they come in. Then we can use the money we make to pay for the festival.
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
Can I make a point here?
Of course.
If we have a raffle, we'll need to buy prizes. So we might not make enough money to pay for the festival.
Well, why don't we ask local businesses to donate the prizes for free? It would be good advertising for them.
Yes, that could work. OK, what else could we do?
Have you thought of asking the school to put on a musical in the daytime?
That's a brilliant idea. Parents would love that.
OK, I'll talk to the head teacher this week. And what about food and drink?
Why don't we make all the food ourselves?
I'm not sure that's a good idea. I think people in the village will want to enjoy the festival, not make sandwiches all day.
Well, we can just have stalls selling burgers, chips, sandwiches and stuff. Every festival has those.
Can I just say something here?
Sure, go ahead.
As it's a village festival, I think we need to involve the people who live in the village in the festival a bit more.
OK, so how can we do that?
I suggest we have some competitions. You know, the best cake, the biggest vegetable, the most beautiful pet, that kind of thing. People always love those.
Yes, that's a great idea. OK, let's just go over what we've got so far.
Track 12.
May I make a suggestion?
Can I make a point here?
Can I just say something here?
How about having some live music?
We could hire some professional musicians.
What about charging people £5 each?
Have you thought of asking the school to put on a musical?
I suggest we have some competitions.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, it's definitely worth a try.
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
Yes, that could work.
That's a brilliant idea.
I'm not sure about that. For one thing,
Sorry, I don't think we should do that.
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Track 13. 1. 8. Educate. Operate. Investigate. Demonstrate. 2. Fortunate. Intermediate. Certificate. Private. Track 14. 1.
8. Decorate. Donate. Create. Meditate. Appreciate. Graduate. Separate.
2.
Considerate. Immediate. Climate. Pirate. Chocolate. Graduate. Separate.
Track 15. 1.
Hi, Wayne.
Hello, Daisy. How nice to see you.
You too. Doing some shopping?
Yes. It's my brother's birthday next week and I've been trying to find something to get him.
Any luck?
No, not really. I don't really know what to get him.
What's he interested in?
Well, he loves travelling. He's quite adventurous, actually. Last year he spent 3 months travelling around South America on his own.
Well, there's a really good book by a guy called Ed Stafford he might like.
Who's he?
He was the first man to walk the length of the Amazon. I haven't read the book myself, but I saw a programme about him on TV recently. It sounded like an incredible journey.
That's a good idea. I'll see if I can find it. And what are you doing in town?
I'm looking for a dress for my sister's birthday party. The trouble is, I can't find anything I like.
Well, my wife buys most of her clothes online now.
Oh, I'm not very keen on that. They never seem to fit properly. Then you have to send them back. I prefer going into a real shop and trying things on.
Yes, I suppose so.
Oh, by the way, have you sold your flat yet?
No, not yet.
I can't believe you want to leave your lovely flat. Those wonderful views of the river.
Well, we've got 2 young kids now and it's not really big enough.
So where are you moving to?
We were thinking of buying a cottage in the country, but in the end we decided that we wanted to stay in the city. All the kids' friends are here. So we're now living in a nice 3-bedroom terrace house near the park.
That sounds great. We'll have to come round sometime.
If I were you, I'd wait till we've unpacked. Anyway, I better get going. See you soon.
Yes, see you. Bye.
2.
Hi there, and welcome to the programme. Firstly, let me give you some information I've just received about the Beddington Bridge Music Festival, which takes place every year. Regular fans will remember that the festival happens over the 3rd weekend of August, Friday to Sunday, near the village of Beddington. This year, though, it's going to start on the Thursday, which will give people the chance to have even more fun. There's a range of tickets to suit everyone, from one-day visitors to people who want to stay for the whole long weekend. You should book early, because tickets are 30% off until the 30th of June. From the 1st of July until the festival starts on the 22nd of August, it will be full-price tickets only. This is a family-friendly event, so children under 16 are allowed in for half price, and children below the age of 12 can go in free. Most festival goers camp in the fields on the festival site, although there's some accommodation available in the nearby villages. If you're driving there, there's a parking fee of £10 per car or £15 if you have a van for however long you stay. You can also get there easily by public transport. The nearest station is about a mile away. Oh, and motorbikes can park for free. Hot and cold food and drink are available on the festival site, of course. And don't forget, you can also get fantastic home-cooked breakfasts in the main square in the village. Anyway, for more information, check out the website, which is beddingtonfestival.com.
Track 16.
I didn't have a clue how to sing opera. She's very good at encouraging people. I found it impossible to breathe and sing at the same time. I was useless at learning languages at school. I was able to give a good performance. I had no idea how to do any magic tricks. He knows how to do some really amazing tricks. I found some of the tricks quite easy to learn. I'm no good at doing card tricks. I managed to do all the tricks without messing them up.
Track 17. Judy.
I run a company that makes personalised gifts. Basically, people send us their photos online and we put them on posters, t-shirts, calendars, mouse mats, that kind of thing. All of our customers order online. If the internet didn't exist, I wouldn't have a business. The most important part of the company is our website because that's how everyone places their order. We'd lose a lot of customers if our website crashed. It's a very cheap business to run, but one thing I don't like about it is that I never talk to customers anymore. It's all just online order forms and emails. I'd like to talk to a real customer again, you know, face to face.
Wesley.
I've owned this cafe for 12 years, and I'd say that the internet is essential for my business. There's an art college across the road, and the students come in here all the time, you know, just to have a coffee and check their email or whatever. If we didn't have Wi-Fi, this place would be empty. They don't even need a password to log on. But it does mean people talk less than they used to. Sometimes I look round and nobody's talking to each other. They're all online in their own little worlds. If they turned off their computers, they might make some new friends. But it also means they stay longer and spend more money. So I can't complain, I suppose.
Frank.
I'm the sales manager for a sports equipment company. And like most people, I couldn't live without the internet or my laptop. I've got all my personal stuff on there and a lot of information about the company too. If I lost my laptop, I'd probably lose my job. One thing that's changed because of the internet is that a lot of my meetings are online nowadays. In some ways they're great because they save a lot of time, but of course this means I hardly ever travel for work anymore. I used to enjoy visiting other parts of the world and staying in nice hotels. If we didn't have so many online meetings, I could get out of the office more often.
Track 18.
I'd probably lose my job. If I lost my laptop, I'd probably lose my job. I wouldn't have a business. If the internet didn't exist, I wouldn't have a business. This place would be empty. If we didn't have Wi-Fi, this place would be empty. If our website crashed, we'd lose a lot of customers if our website crashed. They might make some new friends. If they turned off their computers, they might make some new friends. I could get out of the office more often. If we didn't have so many online meetings, I could get out of the office more often.
Track 19.
If I have time, I'll help you. If I had time, I'd help you.
Track 20. 1.
If I have enough money, I'll buy a new laptop. If I had enough money, I'd buy a new laptop.
2.
If you opened that attachment, it'd crash your computer. If you open that attachment, it'll crash your computer.
3.
I'd give you a lift if I had time. I'll give you a lift if I have time.
4.
You'll see them if you get there early. You'd see them if you got there early.
5.
If they study harder, they'll pass their exams. If they studied harder, they'd pass their exams.
6.
If we moved house, we'd miss our friends. If we move house, we'll miss our friends.
Track 21. 1.
Oh dear, I'll never finish these t-shirts by 5 o'clock.
Sorry, I'd help you if I didn't have all these calendars to do.
If Megan was here, she could do some of them, but she's still on holiday.
Well, don't worry. If you don't finish them, I'll email the customer and explain.
2.
What time's my online meeting with the sales reps?
It's at 3:30, but Brian emailed to say that he might not be able to do it. If he misses the meeting, I'll ask him to call you tomorrow.
Great, thanks. And can you help me back up these documents online? I wouldn't ask if I knew how to do it, but I'm useless at this kind of thing.
Yes, of course. If you give me your laptop, I'll do it now.
Track 22.
Here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
Yes, it's always quite busy in here after work.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, how was the meeting?
Oh, it was quite boring, actually. Marcus went on about sales figures and cutting costs and stuff like that.
Right. Did you go to the meeting, Simon? Simon?
Oh, don't worry about him. He's probably updating his Facebook page, saying something fascinating like in pub with people from work or whatever.
Just because I'm online, it doesn't mean I can't hear you.
I can see why they don't allow people to go on Facebook in the office.
Yeah, what did Marcus call it? Social not working?
So how often do you go on Facebook, Simon?
Oh, I don't know. About 10 or 15 times a day, probably.
Really?
Yeah. All of my friends are on it, and I like to know what's happening to them.
Are you on Facebook, Jenny?
Yes, but I don't check it very often anymore. I used to do it all the time. It's very addictive. But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be. And in the end, you're still just sitting on your own in front of a computer screen.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Actually, I thought it was damaging my friendships. I always knew what my friends were doing, so I never phoned them up for a chat or arranged to meet up with them. There didn't seem to be a reason to. Now I only check it once a week and try to meet up with friends face to face more often.
So how many friends do you have?
Do you mean real friends or Facebook friends?
Facebook friends.
Oh, I don't know. About 100, I think.
Is that all? I've got, let's see, 762. And even my sister's rabbit's got over 200 friends.
Which means your sister's rabbit is twice as popular as Jenny.
Exactly. Computers never lie.
Very funny.
What about you, Gary? Are you on Facebook?
No, I'm not, but I'm on Twitter.
Oh, right. Do you tweet a lot?
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that.
And what about YouTube?
Yeah, I love YouTube. I can spend hours watching videos of baby animals.
Yeah, women love that sort of thing. My favourite YouTube videos are the ones of people having hilarious accidents.
Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about the internet. You can use it to share videos of your kids.
Or to tell your Facebook friends it's your turn to buy the drinks.
What? Oh, yeah. OK then. Same again.
Track 23.
Was, were, your, but, as, from, them.
Track 24.
Here are your drinks. We were lucky to get a table, weren't we?
But I was spending hours and hours on it, and it wasn't as much fun as it used to be.
No, but I like reading tweets from film stars and footballers and people like that. Well, my wife posts videos of the children so our relatives can watch them.
Track 25. Conversation 1.
Hello, Tanya. Have you got a minute?
Hello, Charlie. Yes, of course. Take a seat.
Thanks.
Right. How can I help?
I just wanted to talk about next week's meeting with Sunspot Hotels. As you know, they're very important clients, and we need everything to go perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Jack and Melissa Johnson from Sunspot are flying over from the States on Monday.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
They're arriving in London from New York at, 15:23.
Good. Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
Yes, we have. Jenny's booked them into the Holiday Inn near the airport.
Fine. And the meeting's on Tuesday morning, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
It starts at 10 and should finish about 12:30. Then you and I are taking them for lunch at the Rose and Crown. You know, that lovely old pub by the river.
That's a good choice. And what about all the other people attending the meeting?
Jenny emailed everyone about it last week.
I think it's important that Barry Mackenzie should be there. He knows more about the American market than anyone else. Have you any idea if he's been invited?
I'm not sure.
Well, perhaps you could check.
Yes, I will.
Do you think we should email everyone again? You know, just to remind everyone.
Okay, I'll do that myself this afternoon.
Great. Okay, perhaps we should talk about our presentation. Do you want to talk about the new products, or shall I?
Conversation 2.
Hi, darling, I'm home.
Hello. Good day at work?
Yes, not bad, thanks. That smells good.
Don't get excited. It's for Harry, not for you. You haven't forgotten about his first birthday party on Saturday, have you?
No, of course not. What time does it start?
At 3:00, but some people have said it'll be a bit late.
Right. Are your parents coming?
Yes, of course they are. They wouldn't miss their grandson's first birthday.
When are they arriving?
On Friday. It's a long way to come and they wanted to make a weekend of it.
Right. They're not staying here, are they?
No, we thought it would be easier if they didn't.
Have we booked them a hotel room?
Yes, I did it this afternoon.
Okay. So how many people are coming?
I'm not sure yet. Some people haven't replied.
Should we email everyone again?
Yeah, good idea.
What about your Uncle Bob?
What about him?
Has he been invited?
Of course. I know you don't get on with him, but he's family. Just try not to get into an argument with him this time.
I will. Perhaps you could ask him not to break my TV this time too.
That was an accident. Anyway, come and see what I've got Harry for his birthday.
Track 26. 1. A.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
B.
Could you tell me what time it starts?
2. A.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
B.
Have you any idea if he's been invited?
3. A.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
B.
Can you tell me when they're arriving?
4. A.
Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
B.
Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room?
5. A.
Do you think we should email everyone again?
B.
Do you think we should email everyone again?
Track 27.
Could you tell me what time it starts? Have you any idea if he's been invited? Can you tell me when they're arriving? Do you know whether we've booked them a hotel room? Do you think we should email everyone again?
Track 28. 1,
Where would you live if you had a lot of money?
2,
I've been living in England for 1.5 years.
3,
While I was on my way home, I met an old friend.
4,
Who do you think I should invite to the wedding?
Track 29.
Hi, Tom. What are you doing at the moment?
I'm trying to download an attachment, but my laptop keeps crashing. Do you think it's got a virus?
Maybe. Perhaps the software's a bit out of date. When did you last update it?
I can't remember. And it slows down every time I try to send an email.
I think it's time to get yourself a new computer.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Track 30.
Tsunamis are caused by earthquakes under the ocean. They can also be caused by a landslide or a volcano erupting. About 250,000 people were killed. Droughts often happen because all the trees have been cut down. A lot of towns and cities on the coast will be flooded. It's possible to predict which places are going to be hit by an earthquake. This increase in temperature is being caused by man-made climate change.
Track 31.
Hi, James.
Hello, Val. Hi, Pete. Come in.
Hi.
Are you ready to go?
Not quite. Do you want a coffee? I've just put the kettle on.
Yes, sure. You get ready. We'll make it.
OK. Oh, there's a bit of pasta left if you're hungry.
No thanks. We've just eaten. Well, I found some coffee, but there's no sugar.
There's some in that jar by the toaster.
Oh, yes.
There's enough milk for 2 cups, but not enough for 3, I don't think.
It's okay. I'll have it black.
And can someone feed the cat? There are plenty of tins of cat food in the cupboard. He has one small tin.
Sure. Here you go, Kitty. James, where do you put your recycling?
In the bin.
What? The rubbish bin?
Yes, that green one over there.
You should recycle things like tin cans. Too much rubbish is just thrown away when a lot of it could be made into something useful.
Yeah, you're probably right. I never recycle anything, I'm sorry to say.
Well, you're not the only one. Hardly any people in our building recycle stuff. Did you know that Germany recycles over 70% of its rubbish, but in the UK it's still only about 40%?
That's not much, is it?
No, it isn't. And there aren't enough places to recycle in this city. And did you know that on average, every person in the UK throws away 7 times their own body weight in rubbish every year?
Really? Wow.
Well, it's never too late to start. There's a lot of stuff in your bin that could be recycled. Look, there's loads of paper and several plastic bottles. The bottles can be made into clothes, and the paper is used to make toilet paper. And all these empty cat food tins can be recycled, and the metal used for making fridge parts.
You seem to know a lot about all this.
Well, there's plenty of information on the internet, but it takes time to change people's habits. People are naturally lazy, I think.
Yes, too many people just don't make the effort. But the government should do more too. In Germany, people have to recycle their rubbish. It's the law. They should do that here too, I think.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I've got a few friends who recycle things like you do, but most people I know just throw everything away. But in future, I'll recycle what I can.
Come on, we're late.
Let me get my coat. Won't be a second.
We made a little progress there, I think.
Yes, I think so. But I think he should recycle that coat. It looks like his cat sleeps on it.
Track 32. 1.
I think there's a bit of milk in the fridge. I think there's a bit of milk in the fridge.
2.
We haven't got enough bags of crisps. We haven't got enough bags of crisps.
3.
There's hardly any food in the cupboard. There's hardly any food in the cupboard.
4.
He's got a lot of tins of cat food. He's got a lot of tins of cat food.
5.
We need to get a few packets of biscuits. We need to get a few packets of biscuits.
6.
There's lots of coffee and plenty of cups. There's lots of coffee and plenty of cups.
Track 33.
I think there's a bit of milk in the fridge. We haven't got enough bags of crisps. There's hardly any food in the cupboard. He's got a lot of tins of cat food. We need to get a few packets of biscuits. There's lots of coffee and plenty of cups.
Track 34.
A British tourist has been attacked by a shark off the coast of Texas, making it the 8th shark attack in America this year. We now go over live to Andrew Evans for a special report. Andrew, I understand that the man didn't do anything unusual to cause this attack.
Yes, that's right, Beverly. Mark Skipper, a 49-year-old man from Oxford, was just swimming on his own quite close to the beach when he was attacked.
How badly was he hurt?
Well, we don't have much information yet, but we know that his leg was bitten quite badly. He was immediately taken to hospital, and we're waiting to hear how he's doing.
So, Andrew, why are the sharks coming in so close?
Well, Ryan Williamson, who works for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, believes that the increase in shark attacks is because of what they call dead zones. These are areas in the ocean where there isn't enough oxygen, so all the fish die.
So there aren't any fish for the sharks to eat?
Exactly. Many of these dead zones are actually quite close to the coast, so the sharks come in closer and closer looking for food.
So what turns an area of the ocean into a dead zone?
I'm afraid it's us, Beverly, people. There's too much pollution in the sea and it's killing all the fish. And these dead zones cover fairly large areas. The one we're talking about here, for example, covers about 5,800 square miles.
And are these dead zones only around the US coast?
No, they're not. According to the United Nations, there are over 400 dead zones around the world. That's nearly 3 times as many as there were 5 years ago.
So is the wildlife department in Texas now saying that people shouldn't go swimming?
No, they aren't telling people to stay out of the water, but they've advised holidaymakers not to go swimming early in the morning or in the evening, because those are the times when sharks feed.
Thank you, Andrew Evans, for that report.
Track 35.
So, how can I help?
Well, Daniel's asked me to go on a hiking holiday in the Lake District with him.
Oh, right. That sounds fun.
Yes, maybe. Anyway, he wanted me to look at his old tent to see if it's still okay.
Well, I wouldn't like to be on top of a mountain in that. If I were you, I'd buy a new tent.
Yes, maybe you're right. You and Charlie have been hiking a few times, haven't you?
Yes. We used to go quite a lot before Harry was born.
Well, could you give me some advice? I've never been hiking before and I'm a bit nervous about it.
Yes, of course.
Well, firstly, make sure you take plenty of warm clothes.
It can get really cold at night in a tent.
OK.
And it's a good idea to take some waterproof clothing in case it rains, which it probably will. This is England after all.
Yes, Daniel's going to lend me his waterproof jacket, and I've already got a rucksack, a camping stove, and a warm sleeping bag.
Great. And make sure you wear comfortable walking boots. Don't wear new boots, or else you'll get blisters on your feet.
Yes, I've got some old boots that are very comfortable.
OK.
That's good.
And what about food? What should we take?
Well, dried food and pasta is good, because it isn't very heavy to carry. You can camp by a river and use the water to cook with.
OK, that's really useful, thanks. What else do you think we should take with us?
Well, you'd better take a torch in case you have to walk in the dark. And you'll need it when you're camping too, of course.
And take some spare batteries for your torch and your camera.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
And don't forget to take a map. It's easy to get lost in the mountains, particularly in bad weather.
Right. And what should we do if we get lost?
Well, you can try to use the GPS on your phone, but you can't always get reception, so it's worth taking a compass just in case.
And whatever you do, don't lose sight of each other. If the weather is bad, you and Daniel must stay together at all times.
Right. Thanks, that's really helpful.
Oh, and be careful when you're crossing rivers.
They can be more dangerous than they look.
Yes, we will. Do you think it's a good idea to tell someone where we're going?
Yes, definitely. And when you expect to get back. Then, if you're not back on time, someone can come and look for you.
Right, that sounds like good advice.
Oh, and one more thing.
What's that?
Watch out for wolves. There are quite a few in the Lake District.
And you don't want one of those coming into your tent at night.
Wolves? Are you serious?
No, don't worry.
I'm only joking. The most dangerous thing in the mountains is always the weather.
And Daniel's cooking, probably.
All right. I'd better go and pick up Harry
from his grandparents. See you later.
Thanks, Rebecca. See you.
Bye.
Track 36.
Could you give me some advice?
What else do you think we should take with us?
What should we do if we get lost?
Do you think it's a good idea to tell someone where we're going?
If I were you, I'd buy a new tent.
Make sure you take plenty of warm clothes.
It's a good idea to take some waterproof clothing in case it rains.
Don't forget to take a map.
It's worth taking a compass just in case.
You'd better take a torch in case you have to walk in the dark.
Don't wear new boots or else you'll get blisters.
Whatever you do, don't lose sight of each other.
Be careful when you're crossing rivers.
Watch out for wolves.
That's really useful, thanks.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Right, thanks. That's really helpful.
That sounds like good advice.
Track 37. 1.
Ear. Ear. Beard. Disappear.
2.
Air. Where. Bear. Pear.
3.
Earthquake. Learn. Search.
Track 38. 1.
Ear. Here. Near. Fear. Beer. Volunteer. Engineer. Cheer.
2.
Air. Scared. Nightmare. Software. Spare. Stairs. Fair. Hair.
3.
Early. Earn. Heard. Murder. Turn. Further. Burglar.
Track 39. 1.
A surgeon is a doctor who does operations.
2.
An operating theatre is the place where you have an operation.
3.
Asthma is an illness which makes it difficult for you to breathe.
4.
A specialist is a doctor who knows a lot about one area of medicine.
5.
The A&E department is the part of a hospital where you go if you have an emergency.
6.
An allergy is a medical problem that some people get when they eat, breathe or touch certain things.
Track 40.
Hello, I'm Moira Dixon, and here are today's main news stories. World leaders have met to discuss the global economy at the World Trade Summit in Hamburg. EU finance ministers have asked for more help from the World Bank for countries that are having problems paying off their debts. Outside the conference hall, thousands of people have taken part in a demonstration to protest against the World Bank's economic policies. The demonstration began peacefully but soon turned violent as protesters tried to enter the conference hall and were stopped by police. At least 40 people have been arrested and 6 police officers have been taken to hospital. A new report on the environment has just been published. The report shows that the UK has failed to meet its targets to reduce CO2 emissions. However, Environment Minister Jack Clark told reporters that some progress has been made.
We haven't met our targets yet, that's true, but we've made good progress. The amount of CO2 produced by the UK has already been reduced by 2.7% in the last 3 years, which will help reduce global warming. But we could and we should do better, and I'm sure that we will.
Over 1,500 ancient gold and silver objects have been discovered by a retired teacher in Wales. 72-year-old Gareth Jones found the treasure 5 days ago while he was walking around his brother-in-law's farm with a metal detector. Experts say the find, which includes coins, swords and items of jewellery, dates back to the 7th century and could be worth over £10 million. One of the UK's leading archaeologists, Professor Geoffrey Baxter, says that the government needs to act fast to make sure the treasure stays in public hands.
Some of the items still haven't been examined, but this is already the most important archaeological discovery this century. But why haven't we heard anything from the government yet? It's important that these pieces are kept for the nation and eventually put on display in the British Museum. If the government doesn't act soon, some of them might end up in private collections.
Track 41.
World leaders have met to discuss the global economy. A new report on the environment has just been published.
Track 42. 1.
A new survey has just been published.
2.
The government has just published a new survey.
3.
3 people have been taken to hospital.
4.
The police have taken 3 people to hospital.
5.
The government hasn't met its targets yet.
6.
The targets haven't been met yet.
7.
The pay offer has already been rejected.
8.
The workers have already rejected the pay offer.
Track 43.
The government's pay offer has been rejected by the Transport Union. The union leader, Alan Stone, has just confirmed that train drivers will go on strike at midnight. However, next week's postal strike has been called off after the union accepted a pay offer of 3.4%. Scientists in Cambridge have found the gene that causes asthma. The gene is one of many allergy genes that have been discovered in the last few years. Rock singer Heidi G has just arrived in the UK for her sellout tour. Her second album, Serenity, has already sold over 5 million copies. And we've just heard that the actor Henry Robson has been taken to hospital after a car accident. His condition has been described as serious.
Track 44.
Welcome back. With me in the studio is Dr. Miriam Richards, who's a psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania and has just published a new report on the psychology of lying.
Hi there.
Now, Dr. Richards, why exactly do we lie?
Well, put simply, we lie because we want to control what other people think of us and how we see ourselves. The main reasons we lie are to avoid arguments, to protect ourselves from harm or danger, to save face, so that we don't look stupid in front of other people, and, of course, just to get what we want in life.
And does everybody lie?
Yes, I would say that everyone lies at some time or other, and anyone who says that they don't is obviously a liar.
And how can we tell that someone is lying to us?
Well, it's often easier to look at the person's body language than to listen to what they're saying. For example, when someone is lying, they'll often avoid eye contact. However, very good liars might make more eye contact than usual to try and make you think they're telling the truth.
Really?
Yes, and they often smile a lot too, but they won't be real smiles, of course.
So how can you tell if a smile is real?
Well, a real smile uses the muscles around the eyes, but a fake smile doesn't. So if you can't tell if someone's really smiling, then look at their eyes, not their mouth.
Are there any other ways you can tell if someone is lying?
Oh, yes. When we tell the truth, our eyes tend to move to the right because the left side of the brain, which stores facts, controls the right side of the body.
I see.
Yes, and when we're lying, the right side of the brain, which controls imagination, makes the eyes go left.
That's interesting.
Yes, and people tend to look up when they're telling the truth because they're getting information from their brain. If they start lying, they'll look down or straight ahead. When they go back to telling the truth, their eyes will go up again.
I've also been told that people put their hands over their mouths when they're lying. Is that true?
Yes, it is. People also touch their noses a lot when they're lying because that covers the mouth too.
That's fascinating. And what about white lies?
Well, of course, most people tell white lies when they don't want to hurt people's feelings. For example, saying a meal was delicious when it was awful. But some people can also train themselves to become expert liars, like politicians, for example.
Dr. Richards, thanks for coming in to talk to us today.
My pleasure. And I really mean that.
Track 45. 1.
Hot. Lot. Body.
Hot. Lot. Body.
2.
Saw. Talk. Thought.
Saw. Talk. Thought.
3.
Aunt. Ask. Can't.
Aunt. Ask. Can't.
4.
Girl. 40. Mother.
Girl. 40. Mother.
5.
Party. Better. Water.
Party. Better. Water.
Track 46. 1.
My aunt is 40 today.
My aunt is 40 today.
2.
I saw a girl walking across the park.
I saw a girl walking across the park.
3.
Why can't you ask your mother?
Why can't you ask your mother?
4.
My brother's got a lot of cars.
My brother's got a lot of cars.
5.
The water isn't very hot.
The water isn't very hot.
6.
This party's better than I thought.
This party's better than I thought.
Track 47. 1.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
2.
How long have you been feeling like this?
3.
Do you know if you're allergic to anything?
4.
What have you eaten recently?
5.
Come back if you're not feeling better in 2 days.
6.
Have you been taking anything for them?
7.
Have you got any other symptoms?
8.
Right, let me have a look at you.
9.
I'm just going to take your temperature.
10.
Here's a prescription for some painkillers.
Track 48. Conversation 1.
Hello, Mr. Phillips. Take a seat.
Thank you.
Now, what seems to be the problem?
I'm not feeling very well. I've got a terrible stomachache and I keep throwing up.
Have you had any diarrhea?
No, I haven't.
How long have you been feeling like this?
Since late last night.
Do you know if you're allergic to anything?
No, not that I know of.
What have you eaten recently?
Well, my 2 children cooked dinner for my wife and me last night. It was our wedding anniversary, you see, and they wanted to surprise us.
That was a nice thought. What did you have?
Well, I'm not sure what it was, actually. Some sort of a seafood and pasta dish. They spent a long time cooking it, so, I felt I had to eat it. It wasn't very nice, to be honest. My wife hardly ate any, so I ate hers too.
Okay, I think you've got food poisoning. And the best thing to do is to rest and don't eat anything for the next 24 hours. After that, you can eat things like bread or rice, but no milk or cheese.
Right.
And drink lots of water. Or black tea with a little sugar in.
Okay. Do I need to make another appointment?
No, I'm sure you'll be fine. But come back if you're not feeling better in 2 days.
Thanks a lot.
And maybe tell your children that you want to go to a restaurant next year.
Yes, I will. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Conversation 2.
Hello, Mr. Green. Please sit down.
Thanks.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I haven't been feeling very well recently. My chest hurts and I keep getting really bad headaches.
Have you been taking anything for them?
Yes, paracetamol, but it didn't really help much.
Have you got any other symptoms?
Yes, I can't stop sneezing.
Yes, I can see that. And how long have you been feeling like this?
Oh, let me see. It's 3 days now.
Right, let me have a look at you. Say R. That's fine, thanks. I'm just going to take your temperature. Yes, got a bit of a temperature, but nothing serious. I think you've got a virus. You need to stay in bed and rest for 2 or 3 days.
Do I need a
what? Bless you.
Thanks. Do I need some antibiotics? I'm allergic to penicillin, by the way.
No, antibiotics don't work with viruses, but I'm going to give you something stronger for the headaches.
Oh, right.
Here's a prescription for some painkillers.
Thanks a lot. How often should I take them?
Every 4 hours. If you're not better in 3 days, then come back and we'll do some blood tests.
Thank you, Doctor.
Not at all. Goodbye.
Bye.
Right, who's the next patient? Oh no.
Track 49.
I'm not feeling very well.
I haven't been feeling very well recently.
I've got a terrible stomachache.
My chest hurts.
I keep getting really bad headaches.
I can't stop sneezing.
Do I need some antibiotics?
I'm allergic to penicillin.
How often should I take them?
Do I need to make another appointment?
Track 50.
Or. Sort. Ought. Bought. Brought. Fought. Thought. Stuff. Enough. Rough. Tough. Oh. Grow. Though. Although. Ow. Shout. Drought. Ooh. To. Through. O. Off. Cough.
Face to Face, 2nd edition. Intermediate. By Chris Redston and Gilly Cunningham. This recording is copyright Cambridge University Press, 2013. CD 3. Track 1.
Hello?
Hi, Mum.
Oh, hello, darling. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. Did you get the message I left yesterday?
Oh, dear. Yes, I did. I was supposed to call you back, wasn't I? Sorry, Leo, I was out all day. Hope it wasn't important.
No, it's okay. It's just that, well, Karen and I wondered if you had any special plans for your wedding anniversary this year. You know, as it's your 25th and all that.
Well, we were going to spend our anniversary in the cottage in Wales where we had our honeymoon, but it was already booked. Tom was supposed to book it months ago, but he forgot. So, the short answer is no. No plans.
Right. Karen and I want to organise a party for you. It was going to be a surprise party, but we can't organise it without you.
What a lovely idea.
Actually, we want to invite all the people who came to your wedding. So we borrowed some of your old wedding photos, but we haven't got a clue who most of them are.
Well, we've lost touch with most of them. 25 years is a long time.
What about the best man?
Oh, Derek Bradley? Yes. He and his wife Brenda were our closest friends back then. She was my bridesmaid. They moved to New York just after our wedding. We were going to visit them later that year, but we didn't go for some reason. Haven't heard from them in, 15 years or so. I've no idea how to get in touch with them.
Well, if you let me have all the information you've got, I'll try to get hold of as many people as I can.
Well, let's see. I'm still in touch with Trevor Jones and his wife Sheila. They met at our wedding, you know. And then there's Jane Lewis. We used to share a flat together. I think I still have a phone number for her somewhere.
Track 2.
We were going to spend our anniversary in Wales. It was going to be a surprise party. We were going to visit them later that year. I was supposed to call you back. Your father was supposed to book it months ago. We were supposed to leave a message.
Track 3.
You look lovely with your hair up, Mum. And I love that red dress.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Have you seen your father?
Not for a while, no. Anyway, how are you feeling?
A bit nervous, actually. And where's Leo?
I'm not sure. He could be picking people up from the station.
Oh, right.
Who's that, Mum? The woman in the flowery skirt with wavy hair and glasses.
That's Brenda Bradley. She was my bridesmaid.
Oh, that's right. That can't be her real hair colour, though, can it? It looks dyed to me.
Yes, I think it is. She used to be fair, I think. She must be going grey.
And who's the woman with the blonde hair in the blue suit? Is that Jane Lewis?
Yes, it might be. Hang on, she spotted us. Peggy! Gosh, it must be, 15 years since I last saw you. Hi, Jane. You look fantastic. Thank you, you too. Where's Tom? Good question. He must be talking to some guests in the other room. So, anyway, what are you doing these days?
Karen.
Ah, there you are. Have you seen Dad?
No, why?
Mum's looking for him.
Well, he must be around somewhere. He may want to be on his own for a bit. You know, it's a big thing, this party.
Yes, maybe. Hey, who's that?
Who?
Him. The guy in the dark suit with curly hair and the moustache. It could be the guy that moved to New York. What's his name? Derek something?
No, that isn't Derek Bradley. He's the tall guy over there, the one in the grey suit.
With the beard?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And that's his son Nick next to him, with the flowery tie and glasses.
Look, the man with the curly hair is coming over.
Hi, you must be Peggy's daughter.
Yes, that's right. I'm Karen. Hi. And this is my brother Leo.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Trevor Jones. Thanks very much for inviting us. It's a wonderful party.
Glad you're having a good time.
Have you met my wife, Sheila?
No, not yet.
She's over there. The one with red hair in the dark brown dress. We first met at your parents' wedding, you know.
Haven't you found him yet, Mum?
No, I haven't.
Maybe he's having a secret cigarette somewhere.
Oh, don't be silly. He can't be having a cigarette. He stopped smoking months ago. Ah, Leo, there you are. Where's your father? He should be here talking to the guests.
Well, he might be in the bathroom.
Yes, perhaps. Go and check, will you, Leo?
Sure, won't be a minute. Yes, he's in there. He's practicing his speech in front of the mirror. He says he'll be out in a few minutes.
Oh, honestly, he must know that speech by now. We spent hours going over it last night. Go and get him, will you? I'm going back to join the party.
Sure. I'm glad we only have to do this every 25 years.
Track 4.
He could be picking people up from the station. That can't be her real hair colour. He must be talking to some guests in the other room. He may want to be on his own for a bit. It could be the guy that moved to New York. No, that isn't Derek Bradley. He can't be having a cigarette. He might be in the bathroom. He's practicing his speech in front of the mirror. He must know that speech by now.
Track 5. 1. 2. 3.
Come
Come on. Come on. Oh.
4. 5.
Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
6. 6.
Today I'm talking to Wendy Robinson, whose new book, I Do, is a history of wedding traditions.
Hello.
Wendy, first of all, we should start with the most obvious question. When did our ancestors start getting married to each other?
Oh, weddings have been around since the beginning of civilization, but they haven't always been as peaceful as they are now. In parts of Europe around 2,000 years ago, if there weren't enough single women in the village, men often went and kidnapped a woman from another village.
Really?
Yes, and the man always took a close friend with him to help with the kidnapping, which is where the tradition of the best man comes from.
That's interesting.
That's also why the best man stands next to the groom during the wedding ceremony, so he could protect the bride if her family tried to come and take her back.
Well, I'm pleased that things have moved on a bit since then. And what about wedding rings? Where did they originate?
That tradition was started by the ancient Egyptians, and the wedding ring is always worn on the third finger of the left hand because the ancient Egyptians believed the vein of that finger was the vein of love and ran directly to the heart.
Oh, right. And what about wedding cakes?
Well, they've been around since ancient Greek and Roman times. The Greeks used to throw small cakes at the bride and groom, while the Romans used to break a cake over the bride's head. Both of these were symbols of fertility, to help the bride have lots of children.
And am I right in thinking that's why people throw confetti too?
Yes, exactly. Guests used to throw wheat, rice or nuts coated in sugar over the happy couple to help them have children, and also to wish for a successful harvest. Now, of course, people tend to throw confetti instead.
OK, so then the happy couple go on their honeymoon. Where did that tradition originate?
Well, one theory says this started in Babylonia about 4,000 years ago. After the wedding, the bride's father gave his new son-in-law all the mead, that's beer made from honey, the man could drink. This was drunk for the next month, and as the calendar was based on the moon, this period of time after the wedding became known as the honeymoon.
And in the UK, women are traditionally allowed to propose to men on the 29th of February. Why is that?
This dates back hundreds of years, when the leap year wasn't recognised by law. For this reason, women believed that they didn't have to follow the usual traditions, so they felt they could ask their men to marry them.
And what about other traditions, such as...
Track 7.
Wendy, first of all, we should start with the most obvious question. When did our ancestors start getting married to each other? Well, I'm pleased that things have moved on a bit since then. And what about wedding rings? Where did they originate?
Track 8. Conversation 1.
Morning, Ella. Sleep well?
Yes, like a log. What's the time?
About 11:30.
Really? I've been asleep for nearly 12 hours.
Well, I'm sure it'll take a few days to recover. It's a long flight from Delhi.
Yeah, it took about 11 hours, and we didn't sleep at all on the plane. Mike's still fast asleep. I'm starving. Can I make myself some breakfast?
Yes, of course you can. Help yourself. You know where everything is.
Thanks. And thanks a lot for letting us stay, Rebecca. That's really kind of you.
No problem. Stay as long as you like. It's nice to have the company. Is there anything else you need?
Well, all our clothes are absolutely filthy from all the travelling. May I use your washing machine?
Actually, I was just going to put some washing in. I need some clean clothes for Harry, but you can use it later if you like.
Great, thanks.
So, what are your plans?
Well, I need to look for a job, actually. We spent all our money on the India trip.
You could talk to Charlie. Apparently they need a new PA in the office.
Really? That's interesting. I'll talk to him about it later. Oh, it's much colder here than in Delhi. Do you mind if I borrow a jumper?
No, not at all. They're in the bottom drawer in our bedroom. Pick whichever one you like.
Great, thanks a lot. Be back in a minute.
Conversation 2.
Oh, Mike. What's it like to be back in the UK?
Well, it's quite strange, actually. We were only in India for a month, but it feels like we were away for a year. But it's very nice to be back.
And when are we going to see your photos?
Oh, they're all still on our camera at the moment. Is it okay if I use your laptop to upload some photos?
Sorry, I left mine at work. But I'm sure Rebecca will let you use hers.
Thanks a lot. Then I can show them to you and Rebecca later if you like.
Yeah, good idea. We could do it after dinner.
Oh, I have another big favour to ask you. Would you mind if I borrowed your car sometime this week? My brother lives about 20 miles away and I haven't seen him for ages.
Sorry, it's only insured for Rebecca and myself. But we can drop you at the station whenever you like.
No problem. I just thought I'd ask.
Is there anything else you need?
Do you think I could use your landline to call my parents? I said I would phone them today and I don't have any credit left on my mobile.
Yes, of course, go ahead. The phone's in the front room by the window.
Thanks a lot.
While you do that, I'll get Rebecca's laptop so you can upload those photos.
Thanks.
Track 9. 1. A.
Can I make myself some breakfast?
B.
Can I make myself some breakfast?
2. A.
May I use your washing machine?
B.
May I use your washing machine?
3. A.
Do you mind if I borrow a jumper?
B.
Do you mind if I borrow a jumper?
4. A.
Is it okay if I use your laptop to upload some photos?
B.
Is it okay if I use your laptop to upload some photos?
5. A.
Would you mind if I borrowed your car sometime this week?
B.
Would you mind if I borrowed your car sometime this week?
6. A.
Do you think I could use your landline to call my parents?
B.
Do you think I could use your landline to call my parents?
Track 10.
Can I make myself some breakfast?
Yes, of course you can. Help yourself.
May I use your washing machine?
Actually, I was just going to put some washing in.
Do you mind if I borrow a jumper?
No, not at all.
Is it okay if I use your laptop to upload some photos?
Sorry, I left mine at work.
Would you mind if I borrowed your car sometime this week?
Sorry, it's only insured for Rebecca and myself.
Do you think I could use your landline to call my parents?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Track 11.
Look it up. Put it off. Give it up. Point it out. Get out of it. Give it away. Go up. Throw out. Get over it. Clear out. See off. Tidy up.
Track 12.
Hi, Sue. What are you doing at the weekend?
We're planning to go away.
Really? Where are you off to?
We're off to Dublin for a wedding. We have to check in at 10, so we're setting off at 8.
Well, this weekend I'm going to tidy up my office. I've been putting it off for ages, but I really need to sort it out.
So are you going to be in all weekend?
Yes, I am. Do you want me to look after your cat while you're away?
That'd be great, thanks. See you on Monday.
Track 13.
Hello, on the box. Can I help you?
Hello, can I speak to Max Foster, please?
I'm afraid he's in a meeting all day. I'm his PA, Gabby. Can I take a message?
Yes, probably. My name's Fiona Robbins, and I'm, going to be in your new TV drama, Undercover.
Oh, yes, of course. You're going to be Kat, aren't you?
That's right, yes. Anyway, I'm afraid I can't come to the meeting on Monday.
Oh, dear. Why's that?
Well, I'm in hospital. I was in a car accident and I've broken my leg.
Oh, how terrible.
Yes, I won't be able to walk on it for a month, or so they tell me.
Poor you. That must be awful.
Well, it's quite painful, yes, but I've already had one operation. It went quite well, I think.
Well, that's good news, at least.
Yes, I suppose so. And I'm having another operation on Friday. I hope it's going to be okay.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Thanks. Anyway, about Undercover, I still want to be in the programme, of course, but I don't know what to do.
Well, they're going to start filming soon, I think.
Yes, I know.
Well, you must talk to Max, and the sooner the better, really. Can he call you tomorrow?
Yes, please. He can call me on my mobile, which is 07700 900 348.
Yes, of course.
Thanks. Look, I'm really sorry about this.
Don't worry. I'll ask Max to call you back in the morning.
Okay.
And get well soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Track 14.
Hello, Max.
Morning, Gabby. Any messages?
Yes, quite a few, actually. We've got a problem.
Oh, what's that?
Fiona Robbins called. You know, the actress who's going to be Kat in Undercover.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's broken her leg.
You're joking.
No, really, it's true. She said that she'd been in a car accident.
Oh, no. That's the last thing we need.
Yes, I know. But she's being looked after very well, I think. She told me that she'd already had one operation.
Well, that's good news, I guess.
Yes, I think so. And she said that she was having another operation on Friday.
Did she say when she'd be able to work again?
Not exactly. But she said she wouldn't be able to walk on it for a month.
Oh, I don't believe it. Does she realise how serious this is?
Yes, I think so. She sounded quite worried about it.
Not her leg. The fact that we're going to lose our lead actress.
Anyway, she told me she couldn't come to the meeting on Monday.
No, obviously not. What was she thinking of?
Well, I don't think she planned to be in a car crash.
No, I suppose not. What else did she say?
She said she still wanted to be in the programme.
What, in a wheelchair? She's supposed to be an undercover cop.
Yes, I know.
So what did you tell her?
I told her they were going to start filming soon.
Good. So she knows that we have to find someone else?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
I told her that she had to talk to you. Here's her mobile number.
Oh, right. While I'm doing this, find someone else to play Cat. I want 3 people here for auditions first thing tomorrow morning.
Sure, will do. But before you go, you had some other messages too.
Who from?
Well, Mr. Hall said he had to...
Track 15.
She said that she'd been in a car accident. She said she still wanted to be in the programme. I told her that she had to talk to you. She told me that she'd already had one operation. She said that she was having another operation on Friday. I told her they were going to start filming soon. She told me she couldn't come to the meeting on Monday. She said she wouldn't be able to walk on it for a month.
Track 16.
Sure, will do. But before you go, you had some other messages too.
Who from?
Well, Mr. Hall said he had to talk to you.
OK, I'll call him later. What's his number?
He only gave me his mobile number. Here it is.
What does he want anyway? I talked to him last week.
Apparently, his wife wants her script back.
Well, send it to her. It was rubbish anyway. What's next?
Carl told me he was going to be in New York next week.
Why is he going to New York? He should be going to LA. That man's an idiot. I'll call him later.
And Sid said he hadn't understood your email. Maybe you should call him back.
OK, I will. Is that it?
Not quite. Who's next? Oh yes. Linda Wise said she couldn't come to Monday's meeting.
Did she say why?
Yes. She's hurt her back again.
Typical. I told her to see a doctor. She just won't listen.
And Mrs. Lee told me the designs would be ready on Monday.
Well, that's some good news at least.
Yes, I told her you'd be pleased. What's next? Oh, Ted Black said he was having a party on Saturday.
Who on earth is Ted Black?
You know, the film producer. I told him you'd be there.
Oh, no, you know I can't stand him.
He said he wanted to talk to you about a new project.
Fine. Is that all?
And there's, one more.
What's that?
Your ex-wife told me she'd sold the house.
What? Get her on the phone now!
Track 17.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
We've been watching you for a while, you know. We've got it all. Phone conversations, emails, text messages, bank statements, the lot.
You're joking. You mean you're a cop?
Got it in one, mate. And I hope you like prison food. Because unless you start giving me some names, you're gonna be eating it for the next 10 years.
Thank you very much, Eva. That was very good. Thanks, Gabby.
No problem. See you later.
Now, Eva, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Sure. Go ahead.
Are you working at the moment?
Not at the moment, no.
Do you have any acting work in the next 3 months?
Well, maybe. I've had some auditions for other TV programmes, but I'm still waiting to hear back from them.
And what was your last acting job?
I played a nurse in an episode of Ward 6 recently. You know, the TV hospital soap? I got hit by a car and ended up as a patient in the hospital I worked in. I died at the end of the episode, but it was a very challenging part.
OK, that sounds good. What other parts have you had recently?
Before that, well, I was a school teacher in a film called Flowers in Winter. I had the lead role in that. It was quite a demanding role, but very rewarding too. The film's coming out next month, I think.
Right. And where did you study acting?
I trained at the London School of Drama for 3 years.
Really? That's good. And the last question, are you available to start next week?
Next week? Yes, I think so.
OK, that's about all. Thanks for coming in. We've got your number, haven't we?
Yes, it's on my CV. Or you can call my agent.
Fine. We'll let you know by the end of the day. Have you got any questions?
Yes, I've got a couple actually. Who are the other actors in Undercover?
Track 18.
So, how did it go?
Oh, quite well, I think. It was quite stressful, though. I had to read from the script, then Max, the producer, interviewed me.
What did he ask you?
First, he asked me if I was working at the moment.
And how did you deal with that?
Well, I couldn't tell him I was a waitress working part-time in a cafe, could I? So I said no. Then he asked what my last acting job had been, so I told him about Ward 6.
That's good. It shows you're a working actress. Well, some of the time, anyway.
Very funny. He also asked if I had any acting work in the next 3 months.
And what did you say?
I told him about the other auditions and said I was very hopeful. That was the best thing to say, don't you think?
Yes, probably.
Oh, and he wanted to know where I'd studied acting.
Uh-huh.
So I told him about the drama school, of course.
Did he ask anything else?
Let me think. Yes, he asked me what other parts I'd had recently.
You told him about Flowers in Winter, I hope.
Of course. Then guess what?
What?
He wanted to know whether I was available to start next week.
Next week? So you've got the part?
No, not exactly. He said he'd let me know by the end of the day. But I have a good feeling about this. I really do.
Well, I really hope you get it. Will you still love me when you're famous?
No, I'll start going out with a good-looking man who's got a well-paid, glamorous job.
Hey!
Track 19.
First, he asked me if I was working at the moment. He wanted to know where I'd studied acting. He asked what my last acting job had been. He wanted to know whether I was available to start next week. He asked me what other parts I'd had recently. He also asked if I had any acting work in the next 3 months.
Track 20.
Hello?
Hello, is that Eva West?
Yes, it is.
This is Max Foster from On the Box.
Oh, yes, hi.
Good news. You've got the job.
Really? Oh, that's wonderful, thank you.
No problem. Can you come to a meeting on Monday?
Yes, of course. What time?
Be at our offices at 10. The director and all the other actors will be here too.
Yes, of course.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't accept any more work. This is a full-time job and you'll be busy for the next 3 months at least.
No, of course not. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Wow! I've got the job!
Congratulations! That's brilliant!
Yes, I can't believe it. A TV series, and I'm the main character.
So, what did he say?
Well, he asked me to come to a meeting on Monday. He wants me to meet the director and the other actors.
That's great.
Yes, he told me to be at their offices at 10.
Excellent. Did he say anything else?
Yes, he told me not to accept any more work. This is going to last 3 months at least.
Fantastic. So, what's your character's name again?
Kat. I don't know much about her yet, but it sounds like a really challenging part. Apparently, she's an undercover cop.
Track 21.
Sure this is the place, Glenn?
Yeah. Warehouse on Tudor Street, 7:30.
Looks closed to me. Want a cigarette?
No thanks, mate. Gave up last week.
Yeah, right. Heard from Kat recently?
Not since 4. She'll call if she needs to. They're late.
Only 5 minutes. Maybe they're stuck in traffic or something.
Maybe. Let's wait a few more minutes.
Yeah, okay. We'll wait and see what happens.
I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
Me too. Why don't we call Kat? Where is she tonight, anyway?
Out on a date.
A date? You're joking. Who with?
The son, Dom. Thought she could get some information out of him.
Information? Right.
Got a cigarette?
Thought you said you'd given up.
That was last week. Oh, don't forget to turn the camera on when they arrive. We need this on film.
Yeah, I know. Where are they?
Hendrik, at last. I said 7:30.
Sorry I'm late, Rupert. Had a bit of a problem finding it. Why didn't we meet at the warehouse like we usually do?
Cops are watching me. That's why.
What?
They've put an undercover cop in the gallery. A girl called Kat.
You're joking.
Do I look like I'm joking? That's why I called you back this afternoon from a payphone and told you to meet me here instead.
Sure you weren't followed?
No, the cops went to the warehouse. Idiots. So, got the statues?
In the van. I'll put them in your car myself, if you like.
Hang on a minute. Are the diamonds inside them?
Of course they are.
They'd better be, or we'll both end up dead.
Hey, relax. All I want is the money. Where is it, by the way?
In the bag. 2 million. Used £10 notes. Just like we agreed.
Perfect. Hey, Rupert, when this is all over, would you like to come and visit me in Amsterdam?
Don't think that's a good idea. But if this works, I'll definitely buy some more of your statues. Now, help me carry this one.
I've locked up the gallery, Gloria. Here are the keys.
Thanks. Kat, before you go, can I talk to you in the office?
Of course.
After you. Put your hands on your head now.
What's going on?
I have a gun pointing at your head. If you turn around, I'll kill you.
Gloria, there must be some mistake.
There's no mistake, Kat, if that is your real name. We know you're a cop, so let's stop playing games, shall we?
What are you talking about? Of course I'm not a cop. Whatever gave you that idea?
Now, if you don't start telling me the truth, I'll put a bullet between your pretty little ears.
OK. You're right. I work for the SCS. We know what you and Rupert have been doing. But if you help us, I'll make it easier for you.
I'm not going to help the police. I'd rather go to prison.
They've probably arrested Rupert already, you know.
I don't think so. We're one step ahead of you. Now sit down and shut up.
Kat, are you there? Kat?
Don't say a word.
Kat, the taxi's waiting. Where are you? Kat?
Track 22.
Hello, Getaway Holidays. How can I help you?
Hello, my name's Bob Crane. Can I speak to Tanya Wilson, please?
I'm sorry, she's out of the office all day. Would you like to leave a message?
Yes, if you don't mind.
Sorry, what did you say your name was again?
Bob Crane.
Is that Crane with a C?
No, with a K.
Right, thank you. And what was the message?
Well, your company wants to send customers to our hotels here in Florida, and I'd like to meet with her when I come to the UK next week to discuss a contract.
Okay, shall I ask her to call you?
Actually, I'm flying to London Heathrow on Thursday, on other business. I'm only in the UK for 48 hours, so perhaps Tanya could meet me at a hotel near Heathrow for lunch on the day I arrive. I'm on, let's see, British Airways flight BA614 from Miami, which arrives at Heathrow at 11:15 a.m.
Sorry, I didn't get all of that. Could you say it again, please?
Yes, British Airways flight BA614 from Miami, which arrives at Heathrow at 11:15.
Flight BA614 from Miami.
That's right.
And it arrives at 11:50.
No, not 11:50. 11:15.
Okay, Mr. Crane, I'll let her know as soon as she gets in tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Goodbye. Hello, Getaway Holidays, can I help you?
Hi, it's Andy. How are things?
Oh, hello, Andy. Fine, I think. There's a lot to learn, though.
I'm sure you'll be fine. If you're not sure about anything, just ask Charlie.
Yes, I will. Anyway, aren't you supposed to be on holiday in Morocco?
Yes, I am, but I'm not leaving till tomorrow. And there are a couple of things I didn't have time to do before I left on Friday.
Well, can I help?
Yes, if you don't mind. Firstly, could you call Rupert Nielsen at the Times and tell him that the meeting on Wednesday has been cancelled?
Do you mean this Wednesday, the 12th?
No, next Wednesday, the 19th.
And could you tell me his surname again?
Nielsen.
Is that spelt Nielsen?
No, it's Nielson.
Right, got it.
And could you check that all our sales reps have been invited to the sales conference?
Are you talking about the UK sales conference?
No, the European one. It's in Lisbon next month.
Okay, I'll check they've all been invited.
Thanks a lot.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's all I think. But if you have any problems, give me a call on my mobile.
I haven't got your number.
Oh, right, hang on. It's 07700 900 372.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Can you give it to me again, please?
Sure. 07700 900 372.
Thanks. I won't call unless I have to. Have a great holiday.
Will do. And good luck with the new job. Bye.
Bye.
Track 23.
Sorry, what did you say your name was again?
Is that Crane with a C?
Sorry, I didn't get all of that.
Could you say it again, please?
Do you mean this Wednesday?
And can you tell me his surname again?
Is that spelt Nielsen?
Are you talking about the UK sales conference?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Can you give it to me again, please?
Track 24.
And it arrives at 11:50.
No, not 11:50. 11:15.
Track 25. 1.
Is that Crane with a C?
No, with a K.
2.
Do you mean this Wednesday, the 12th?
No, next Wednesday, the 19th.
3.
Is that spelt Nielsen?
No, it's Nielson.
4.
Are you talking about the UK sales conference?
No, the European one.
Track 26. 1.
Hello, can I help you?
Yes, can I speak to Mr. Smith, please?
Do you mean Ron Smith?
No, Ed Smith.
2.
Can you call Gary on extension 223 and remind him about the meeting? Sorry, I didn't get all of that. Did you say extension 233? No, extension 223. And are you talking about today's meeting? No, tomorrow's meeting.
3.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Can you give me your address again?
23 Gerrard Street, SE19.
Is that Gerard with a G?
No, it's with a J.
4.
Sorry, what did you say his name was again?
It's Trevor Martin.
And is that spelt M-A-R-T-I-N?
No, it's M-A-R-T-Y-N.
And do you want to talk to him about this year's conference?
No, next year's conference.
Track 27. 1.
Shun. Audition. Prescription. Infection.
2.
Idge. Manage. Cottage. Encourage.
3.
Ch. Nature. Adventure. Sculpture.
Track 28. 1.
Shun. Reception. Collection. Promotion. Prescription. Education. Invitation. Conversation. Information. Organization. Pronunciation. Examination.
2.
Idge. Message. Village. Language. Damage. Sausage. Luggage. Package.
3.
Ch. Future. Miniature. Temperature. Manufacture.
Track 29. 1.
We've been standing here for nearly 20 minutes.
Yes, I know. But I'm sure one will be along soon.
I wish we had a car.
Yeah, me too. But you know we can't afford one. Not until I find a job.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. If we had a car, I wouldn't spend half my life waiting for buses.
Oh, look, here's one. See, I told you.
2.
Do you fancy a drink? Sally and I are off to the pub.
Oh, I wish I could come with you. But I have to stay and finish this report.
Can't you do it tomorrow?
Nah, Brian wants it before he goes home. He's off to New York in the morning.
Well, if you finish it in the next hour or two, give me a call.
Yes, I will. I could really do with a drink. Anyway, have a good time. Now, where was I?
3.
Are you enjoying this film?
No, it's rubbish, isn't it?
Actually, I'm sick of sitting here watching telly in this freezing cold flat.
Yeah. I wish I was on a beach somewhere, you know, relaxing in the sunshine.
Yeah, we could really do with a holiday, couldn't we? It's a shame we're so broke.
Do you fancy going for a walk?
No, I can't be bothered. Let's see what else is on.
4.
You look nice. I can't remember when I last saw you in a suit.
Thanks. But I wish we didn't have to go to this party. I don't really feel up to it.
Oh, you can't miss your sister's birthday. Anyway, you'll enjoy it when you're there.
Yes, I suppose so. But let's not hang around for too long after dinner.
No, of course not. So, which of these dresses should I wear?
I don't mind. It's up to you.
The red one, I think. Or maybe the green one.
5.
Are you off?
Yes, I'm meeting Jackie at the station in a few minutes.
Well, give her my love.
Will do. I wish you were coming to the theatre with me.
You know, I'm not really into musicals. Anyway, I've got to finish marking all these exams.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Have a good time. Bye.
Track 30.
I wish I could find a job. I wish it wasn't so cold in this flat. I wish I didn't have to mark all these exams. I wish I had a new dress for the party. I wish we were staying at home this evening. I wish the bus stop was closer to our flat. I wish he could come to the pub with us. I wish I didn't have to finish this report. I wish he liked musicals. I wish I was sitting in a beach bar right now.
Track 31. Carol.
The most important moment in my life was, the day I met Owen. An old friend was having a party, but the weather was so bad that I nearly didn't bother going. Just think, if I'd stayed at home, I wouldn't have met my husband. Anyway, my friend introduced me to Owen and we got on really well. He was only in London for a few days. He's American, you see. And he was supposed to fly back to Boston the following day. But the next morning, Owen called me to say that Heathrow Airport was closed because of ice and snow. He'd have flown home that day if the weather hadn't been so bad. Anyway, he invited me out for lunch and we got to know each other a bit better. He flew home the next day, but by that time we were already madly in love. We got married 2 years later, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Anthony.
For me, probably the biggest turning point in my life was when I lost my job. I was working for an advertising agency, but they got into financial trouble and had to get rid of some people, including me. I got quite depressed at first, but I was getting fed up with working for a big agency anyway, so I decided to start my own online design company. If I hadn't lost my job, I wouldn't have started my own business, but it's been really successful. I've always fancied working from home, and so I moved to the country and bought a nice little cottage. I wouldn't have left London if I'd stayed with the ad agency. I don't get as much money as I used to, but I'm much happier than I was then.
Michelle.
Well, for me, it's probably the day I won my first race. When I was a kid, I used to get into trouble a lot at school, and the only thing I enjoyed was running, which I was always quite good at. Then, one day, my dad took me to the local athletics club. When we got there, I found out that he'd entered me for the 400 metres. I was really nervous, but I won by over 2 seconds. That was the turning point for me. If I hadn't won that race, I'd never have become a serious athlete. I started training really hard, and 3 years later, I managed to get into the British youth athletics team. I've got better as I've got older, and now I want to compete in the next Olympics. So yeah, running's changed my life. If I hadn't started doing this, I'd have got into a lot more trouble. I'm sure of that.
Track 32.
If I'd stayed at home, I wouldn't have met my husband. If I hadn't lost my job, I wouldn't have started my own business.
Track 33. 1.
They'd have come to the party if they'd wanted to. They'd have come to the party if they'd wanted to.
2.
If you'd left a message, I'd have called you back. If you'd left a message, I'd have called you back.
3.
He wouldn't have sold his car if he hadn't lost his job. He wouldn't have sold his car if he hadn't lost his job.
4.
If I hadn't been so tired, I'd have gone out last night. If I hadn't been so tired, I'd have gone out last night.
5.
If he hadn't moved to New York, he wouldn't have met his wife. If he hadn't moved to New York, he wouldn't have met his wife.
34.
If they'd wanted to. They'd have come to the party if they'd wanted to. I'd have called you back. If you'd left a message, I'd have called you back. If he hadn't lost his job. He wouldn't have sold his car if he hadn't lost his job. I'd have gone out last night. If I hadn't been so tired, I'd have gone out last night. He wouldn't have met his wife. If he hadn't moved to New York, he wouldn't have met his wife.
Track 35.
Hello and welcome to the programme. Stories of superheroes have entertained us for nearly 80 years, and one of the most popular of these is Spider-Man. Today I'm talking to the author Robin Baker, whose new book, Superhero, tells the story of Spider-Man's creator, Stan Lee. Welcome to the programme, Robin.
Thank you.
Robin, What can you tell us about Stan Lee's early life?
Well, his real name was Stanley Lieber, and he started working for a company called Timely Comics when he was 16. 20 years later, the company, which was now called Marvel Comics, was almost broke. So Lee was asked to invent some new superheroes.
Which characters did he create?
First, he created a comic called The Fantastic Four, which was very successful and saved the company. This was followed by The Incredible Hulk, the X-Men, and then Spider-Man.
Where did the idea for Spider-Man come from?
Well, according to Stan Lee himself, he was in his office trying to come up with a superpower for a new character he'd just created. While he was sitting there, he was watching a fly walking up a wall. Then he thought, wouldn't it be great if my character could walk up walls like an insect? So Spider-Man was born. Actually, he nearly called him Insect Man.
Really?
Yes, but he thought it just didn't sound right. Then he tried Crawling Man, Mosquito Man, and then finally Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man was rather different to earlier superheroes, wasn't he?
Yes, absolutely. The character, Peter Parker, who's Spider-Man, of course, was a typical young guy. He had problems with girls. He missed appointments. He couldn't pay the rent, that kind of thing. So, even though he had these amazing superpowers, he was still a normal guy with all the problems young people usually have.
How did he get his superpowers?
Well, in the original comic, Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider at a science museum. This gave him his super strength and his spider sense, which is his ability to sense danger. And, of course, he can also climb up the sides of buildings, which is very useful.
As we've all seen in the films.
Yes, indeed. And a funny little fact is Stan Lee often appeared in his characters' movies, usually as a hot dog seller.
Robin, thanks very much for coming in to talk to us today.
My pleasure.
Track 36. 1.
Kindness. Manage. Dangerous. Adventure. Argument. Honesty. Promotion.
2. A.
Relaxed. Concerned. Frightened.
B.
Exhausted. Terrified. Embarrassed.
3.
Beard. Disappear. Bear. Wearing. Earthquake. Heard.
4. A.
A gorgeous jacket.
B.
A university student.
C.
An intermediate certificate.
D.
A stubborn workaholic.
E.
Enough stuff.
F.
Although it's a drought.
5.
Clear out. Go up. See off.
6.
We were trying to find out who this email was from.
Track 37. 1.
We're very pleased to welcome on Arts Today the actor Colin Waring.
Hello.
Firstly, how did you become interested in acting?
Well, my mother took me to the theatre when I was 10 to see a Shakespeare play that we were studying in English at school. That didn't really attract me, though. The language was too old-fashioned, I suppose. Then one of my friends was in a local play, and we all went along to watch. That was when I started thinking it might be something I could do too.
Did you enjoy drama school?
I loved it. Some of the teachers were very well-known actors, and we were all a bit frightened of them. The most useful thing was being able to go and see all the new plays in London. We often got free tickets, and I learned so much that way. The other students were great too, and I made a lot of good friends there.
What was your first acting job?
Well, after drama school, I worked part-time in a restaurant called The Rendezvous, you know, like actors do. Then I auditioned for a part in a play called Secret Lives, but I didn't get that, sadly. Then I was chosen to play a waiter in Table for Two, you know, the John Frank musical.
You always say your first love is the theatre. Why is that?
A lot of actors say it's the contact with a live audience, and that is exciting, of course. But the thing I find most fascinating is that you're part of something that grows and changes. A play is never the same 2 nights in a row. Some people like playing their part in the same way every night, but I'd get rather fed up with that.
Finally, any plans for the future?
Well, I was offered a part in a new American adventure film, but I didn't want to be away from home for that long. Then there's a new play directed by Ian Scott, but that would mean going on tour. So I'm going to do a TV serial set near here. Less travelling.
Colin, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
2.
You're looking very well, Paul. Have you had a holiday?
No, but I've just come back from a health retreat. I lived on just fruit and vegetable juice for a week.
Wow. Didn't you feel hungry?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. On day 1, things were okay. There was a lot to do, so I didn't notice I was hungry. I felt a lot worse the next day, bad headache and so on. After that, it was great, though.
So would you recommend going to a place like that?
Oh, yes, definitely. Some people do it regularly, every 6 months or so, and I'm thinking of doing it again in March. Anyway, you always look healthy. What are your tips?
Well, number 1, don't miss breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. I always have fruit, yoghurt, that kind of thing.
I tend to have a cooked breakfast. You know, eggs, beans, toast, sausages, and then I can work without stopping until lunchtime.
Wow, that's a lot. I hope you think about the quality of your food. I always buy organic eggs, vegetables and bread. I know they're more expensive, but I feel you get what you pay for.
Are you a vegetarian?
Well, when I was younger, I thought it was the right thing to do, both for my health and to protect animals. But now I eat a bit of everything, meat and fish included.
So what sort of food do you prefer if you're eating out?
It depends what I'm doing and who I'm with. I love spicy food, so Indian or Thai are always good choices.
They're delicious, but a bit too hot for me. If I have the choice, I go to my favourite restaurant just round the corner from my flat, which serves great pasta, and it's quite cheap too.